I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very confused political spotlight. This is episode 427. Give me 1 second here, folks. Let me get this taken care of, and we will be ready to rock and roll. Reform everyone. Okay, so we got that banner up. Let me see here. Oh my God. Okay, we get this up. And Madison, damn it. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Hey, sorry about that delay. So, all right, here's the deal. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and I have been governmenting basically since I got off the program last night. We got off the program last night. I had been governmenting all day yesterday, doing the job, digging into a bunch of stuff. And literally, as the Madison County meeting ended last night, I geared up for my show, and we had a fantastic show last night. Didn't have anything to do with Madison County. We told everybody that tonight was the night we would discuss what was going on in Madison County. We would discuss what was going on up in Alexandria, which is a small town in northern Madison County. We said we would talk about the Madison County Council and how those things pertain to each other and all of that. And then we did all of that. But I did last night's show, and it was a great show. And I had the Muncie City Council meeting from Monday still on my mind. I had the Madison County Council meeting on my mind. It just freshly got over. And I was mad about one specific thing in the Madison County Council meeting. And when I got mad, I started to reach out to a person, and I realized I couldn't, and I found out some information, and that just set me off. And I had a horrible night last night because of it. And then I woke up this morning, and we had just craziness going all day long. Listen, the Board of Works from meeting in Muncie today lasted 110 seconds. I want to make sure you are aware of what I'm saying. Grown adult human beings that are supposed to be governing and leading and supposed to be like, the place where shit hits the fan and it stops and doesn't go any further. They literally got together and held a meeting for 1 minute and 50 seconds. And in that meeting that they held for 1 minute and 50 seconds, they paid claims. They voted with no questions to pay $1,021,364.77. So that just set me off. And then we went into the Indiana state government. They were dealing with the floor reading, the second reading of Senate Bill 1. We'll talk about that here in a second. And then it's just went from one thing to another. So I'm in a really bad mood. I'm telling you, I need a vacation. Once we get through, when we get through the end of this session and things take a calm down, I'm going to take like a week's vacation. We're going to relax. Everything's going to be cool. We're going to have a good show for you tonight. So for those of you that are out there watching, here in just a few moments, we're going to be bringing on Madison County's troublemaker, Dr. Katherine Callahan, and she's not coming alone today. She said, "Hey, I got a special guest." I said, "What's the deal? You have a mouse in your pocket?" She said, "No, I don't think this person could fit in my pocket." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's rock and roll." So he's going to be joining us, and we'll let her introduce him and tell you who this guy is and why he's here. I'm kind of digging what he's doing up in his community. And so we're going to see if we can connect and help each other out and do what we do here. But before we get into that, I just briefly, for a few moments, need to talk about the very special, important, horrible, bad, I don't know what you want to call it. It is breaking news. It's been basically breaking since about 2 o'clock, 2:30, 2:45 today. And it's really been basically all over the place. There's been a lot of stuff going on. I have been trying to keep folks abreast of what was happening on my Twitter account and on Facebook, letting you guys know what's going on. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening, you will want to connect with me on my social medias. You can find it all right here. That's where everything is. My Facebook accounts, there's 2 of them. You'll want to follow both of them. Hey, especially because I'm almost at my limit on my main page. So you'll just have to follow after that and then jump on the other one. And then X. I'm telling people you need to get on Twitter. You need to start following on X. That is where I'm going to start doing a lot of stuff. So that's important. So follow us there. That is very, very important. And that's how you can do that. Please, as we're getting into this, do what you do. Like the show. Subscribe if you haven't. Doesn't cost you anything. If you're here live, comment over here if you have something to say. If you're here in the future via replay, comment down below. You know what to do. Above all else, share the show with everyone you know. That is very, very, very important. Okay, so at 1:30 today, our Indiana state representatives were supposed to meet in session, all 100 of them, and they were supposed to start voting on various bills. They had 11 bills up. Of those 11 bills, 4 of them were up for second reading, and 7 of them were up for the third reading. Those for the third reading, if they were read and they were voted on and they passed, they are now going to the governor's desk. The bills that were up for second reading gets voted on, and then they have to get voted on again at a later date. Normally it would be like next week or something like that. One of those bills was Senate Bill 1. What's Senate Bill 1? Everybody should know what it is. That's the property tax reform bill. Let me tell you, everybody's screwed. Everyone is screwed. If you're young, if you're old, if you own property, if you rent, if you're homeless and you scrounge and you buy things here or there, everybody's screwed. If you work, you're screwed. If you're a vet, you're screwed. If you're a police officer, you're screwed. If you're a drug dealer, you're screwed. literally everybody is screwed. It doesn't matter. This Senate Bill 1 that they've done today proves that Governor Braun is a one-term governor, and I don't care what anybody else says. We need to push him out. He is a complete idiot. Yeah, this is the special thing. It's not going to be next week. We're not going to get some time. They are jamming this through at lightning speed. Today was the second reading of Senate Bill 1. Guess when the third reading is? Tomorrow. It's tomorrow, and that's complete bullcrap. So that's nonsensical, okay? And I got to say it. Rob Kendall, he was wrong. Rob Kendall was wrong. And I heard him on Hammer and Nigel this afternoon, and he kind of sounded like a whip pup. After his show today, he spent all afternoon with Braun trying to explain to him why this was a good deal. Let me tell you what happened before anybody even voted. They were not even 30 minutes. They were not even 30 minutes into the discussion on the bill, okay? I want to be really clear about this. They were not even 30 minutes into the discussion on the bill. Into the first, they weren't even in 30 minutes into the first amendment. And I got a press release from Governor Braun, and this is what the press release said, okay? Came directly to me, as it always does, directly from Governor Braun. Here's the press release. And the press release says, I've posted this up on Twitter and on Facebook. Immediate release. And this came out at 2:50. 2:42, I think is when it came through. I saw it at 2:50. Statement. Governor Braun announces agreement to bring historic property tax relief to Hoosiers. Governor Mike Braun gave the following statement regarding Senate Bill 1 on the historic property tax relief. I am proud to announce that with Amendment 36 to Senate Bill 1, we have agreed upon a plan to bring historic property tax relief to Hoosiers. I am grateful for the leadership of Speaker Todd Houston. Todd Houston is a turd. He is a complete establishment hack. Okay. All right. Moving forward. And President Pro Tem Rod Bray, another asshole who is a hack. Okay. Let's just be clear. And for the way they have partnered with us to deliver this meaningful tax relief to Hoosiers. I encourage House members to support this amendment and to urge the Senate to then take action quickly to get it to my desk for signature. So Braun is telling us he's planning on signing this. Let me tell you in brief what it does. Yesterday, when everybody was up in arms and everybody, Rob Kendall, Casey, everyone at 93.1 WIBC, everyone in the Twitter sphere, everyone in Indiana, everyone everywhere, all Republicans, all Democrats, local, state, federal, everybody was saying, this needs to be vetoed. Veto, 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 veto. Yesterday, what they had done Monday when the Ways and Means pushed through Amendment 45, it meant some Hoosiers would possibly get $200 off their tax bill. However, because of the other bullcrap that they put into that 368-page amendment, we are going to be taxed $200 or more in excess in other taxes that will make up for it. So they are literally robbing Peter to pay Paul. Or moreover, stealing, giving us $200 back that we don't have to pay them, so we can then give them $250 in another way.
Now you got to hold on though. You don't get $200 off of your property tax bill.
Right.
You get it as a credit.
On
your annual income tax return with the state.
Well, correct. Yeah,
and it
correct.
Also over the next 5 years, is it?
Mm-hmm.
They're phasing out your homestead deduction.
Yeah, that's going away. That's going away. For people that know, that's going away.
So your property tax bill, according to the Indy Star on Friday, said that most Hoosiers would see a reduction on their tax bill of $50.
Yeah. Well,
I don't understand.
No. Wait. You're going to have the entire show. I have got to get this out. Give me 1 second. I have got to get this out. So here's what happened with this bill today, with this amendment today. They said they will give us an additional $100 off in the credit, but that is also going to be met back on the other end. So this is absolutely nothing. It is complete bullshit, and everyone needs to be pissed off. I've been in a bad mood all day because of this. This is nonsensical, and everyone needs to be contacting their governors, your state representatives. And the other thing is what's happening to Union School Corporation is also complete bullshit. And that has Scott Alexander and JD Prescott. We have them to thank for that. And we need to be knocking their doors down, figuratively speaking, emailing them, calling them, running them out of office. Okay, I've said my piece. Now you guys have it.
I have a question. What does specifically Amendment 36 that made him decide he's not going to veto it, what does it do?
I haven't been able to read it all yet. I have no clue. It's yeah. So let us know.
So it increases the personal property tax exemption.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To $150,000. Does that help you as a homeowner?
Hell no.
No. Unless you own like turbines and shit.
Well, yeah, right. No, in no way.
It helps businesses and it helps big farms.
Absolutely.
That's the thing that sent him.
I gotta tell you guys something.
I'm going to veto it. He got to help his business buddies. Fuck
somebody came into my office and told me that his brother's running his business.
Yeah.
And that he has a bunch of illegal immigrants working for him, and somebody needs to raid Braun's brother's business. I don't know. Why do people keep coming to me about this?
Somebody make that happen. That happen.
But here's what I want to say. Did the people have any say or voice in this?
Well, during the election.
Exactly. And then what happened in between there? I mean, the gentleman I'm going to bring up tonight, Nathaniel, he doesn't get to speak at all in his meetings.
Well, he also has power in the elections, but they're doing to him the same thing that they're doing in a lot of ways at the State House.
Exactly.
So let's bring this gentleman up and let's get started with
so
this.
When you vote, elections have consequences. You vote for this stuff. This is what you get. They are going to take it out of your checkbook. They're going to tell you to sit down and shut up. And this is how it's going to work. They're going to spend your money that you're working for. And I'm telling you right now, everyone, we need to pick a day, and no one is going to pay taxes for a year and tell them to.
Well, yeah. And so just for everybody that's watching, that's maybe interested in what's going on. And listen, we talk about a lot of different special interest locales, places where, only niche people are interested in. This property tax stuff affects every Hoosier in all of Indiana. And I just want everyone to know, this is just a quick little aside so you know that I'm pissed off. If you're interested, tune into 93.1 tomorrow. Listen, they're going to be talking about it. I hope Rob goes in there ready to say, because Rob has been saying for the last 6 months, if Braun did not get this done the way that he initially said, he was a one-term governor. I hope Rob Kendall does not back out on that. He needs to say the same thing. Braun needs to be a one-term governor.
Braun should have been a zero-term governor.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you something right now. And I know people will talk crap and say, well, you're not a Republican in good standing because you're talking about other Republicans. Nope. Listen, people, either do your job or I'm going to talk about you. You are earning the lashings you are getting.
Oh, yeah. 100.
I'm a bad person, but I'm not going to sit over here and say, okay, you're a Republican, you can cheat all the people. Okay, well, you're a Democrat, you can do whatever you want. I'm not going to do it.
100%.
You've got the
100%.
wrong person if you think I'm going to be picking sides that way. Either do the right thing or you need to get out of the way and resign. That's all I can tell you.
Absolutely. Well, and so anyone that's watching this that's interested in more on this, I will be discussing this tomorrow.
Oh, I want to come on.
We'll have to see if we're going to kill each other at the end of the show or not. I will be discussing this in a full-length show tomorrow where we'll just be talking about property tax. At the first 10-15 minutes, we'll be talking about the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. And then the remainder of the hour and 20-30 minutes, we'll be talking about property tax, this bill, Senate Bill 1, and all that craziness. Now, without further ado, we're going to bring up special guests. This is Katherine's buddy. She's bringing on, where I'm going to be meeting him really for the first time. And this is Nathan Hollingsworth. Did I say that right? Here he is with us. Here he is with us. Ta-da!
Listen, you done pissed him off about the property tax. He looks mad.
Well, first of all, thanks, Chris, for having me. Katherine, thanks for inviting me.
Hey, I'm always willing to invite somebody to Chris's show.
Yeah, it's been an eventful 8 months in Alexandria. So, it's quite honestly a disaster up there right now.
Okay, so everybody who's watching, I know there's a lot of viewers on here. We're going to first talk about Alexandria. I'm going to admit this, and most of you know my life is a little hectic like Chris's. And Nathan told me the other night, he says, I've been trying to get in touch with you for 8 months. I'm like, no, you haven't. Show me some proof. Well, he pulls out his phone, and sure enough, he's been trying to get hold of me for 8 months. And we kind of went back and forth, but he's like, you ghosted me. Well, I was like, I don't know. I guess you got to get a little more stalker, like if you need something. I don't know. Well, what happened is I never put two and two together. I got a call. We had some issues up in Alexandria. I said, I don't really know. I made a few phone calls. I got a hold of Nathan. He was able to open a lot of doors and get some resources for us. This all just happened within the last 30 days. And fast forward, they have been asking me for about a year to come out and cover Alexandria. I don't live up there, so I kind of shied away from the area. And then finally, after what Nathan had offered me to help us, I did go up there on Monday night. And I want everybody on this show to know I was absolutely appalled. I mean, if you think the county meetings are bad, you haven't seen anything until you've seen an Alexandria meeting.
It's pretty bad. We pay. It's pretty bad. We pay pretty much, the attorneys to run the meetings up there.
Yeah. So the taxpayers pay the attorney, and then they're not allowed to speak at all. I don't care what the topic's on.
Yeah. So this is how Katherine had started talking to me about this, saying that, you guys are not allowed. So real quick, the rule is in the state of Indiana, unless you're talking about new money in a meeting like this, they can not allow public comment. But what they have to do is they have to make sure it's not allowed across the board. Now, for new money topics, they do have to allow public comment, and there's no way that you can tell me that you have a council that goes, through their entire life as a council without talking new money. They talk new money almost every month, so there should be times where you can talk. Now, I will tell you, outside of that new money request, 99.9% of all councils, commissioners, whatever, they will give public comments for these people to talk to their elected public servants at the end of the meeting or the beginning of the meeting. So you're saying Alexandria Town Council does not allow that at all? And how long have they not allowed it?
I don't know exactly. I know it's been over a year they haven't. almost 2
So are
years.
you telling me, Nathan, that in a year you guys have never had any new money requests on your agenda? I find this hard to believe.
There has been some, I'm sure. And this is where, the citizens can, you know what, it might not be about new money that you're standing up and talking, but you can stand up and voice your opinions. It doesn't have to be a public speaking on new money. You can get up and speak what you want to. They got to give you your time, regardless if it's new money. And these are things that people need to be educated on, especially if you feel like you're being silenced, or, I've had a one-on-one conversation with the mayor, and he blamed it on the attorneys that, the attorneys don't want public speaking, and okay, it's not the attorney's meeting. It's the mayor. Well, it's not even the mayor's meeting. It's the council's meeting. The council ultimately should have control over that, and they do not, because I don't know if they don't know their powers. I don't know if they are uneducated. I don't know. First of all, let's talk about all the businesses that are affected from a big Washington Street project we have going on. There's 3 businesses that didn't even know that their businesses were not going to have access. Where was the council? Where was the mayor? Where was everybody on that project to notify these citizens that, hey, your business is going to be extremely affected, and to wake up one day, go out and realize, oh, they're starting this project. I guess I've got to figure out a way to access my business.
Jesus.
Yeah, we have 3 businesses right now that pretty much have had to do their own pathways to even access them. This is something that the project manager, which is Rachel Martin, should have been addressing way ahead of time, getting a hold of these business owners, figuring out a plan of attack, figuring out what they can do to help these businesses. But you know what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And these businesses are out of pocket for gravel, for labor to spread the gravel, to make access to their businesses so they can even stay in business. But our current mayor ran on a platform. He wants to bring new businesses to Alexandria. Okay, let's bring new businesses, but let's take care of the businesses we have.
Yes.
Okay.
So, real quick. So people can be aware. Can we name who these political officials are up there? Who's your mayor? What's your mayor's name?
Todd Naselroad.
Todd Naselroad, Republican, Democrat?
Republican.
And this is his second term.
Okay. Okay. Second term. So mayors have no term limit, so he can run for as long as he wants. So, okay.
He's made it known that he's probably not going to run a 3rd term.
Okay. Okay. And so your council, you're a town, or are you a 3rd-class city? You're a 3rd-class city because you have a mayor.
Correct.
Okay. So you have 5 council members?
Correct.
No, Monroe is huge. This township is huge.
We have.
It's not. Well,
I think we have 6. 6, I believe.
Or 7. There was.
Wait. We're getting things confused. It's not a township. We're not talking about the whole township. It's just the town of Alexandria.
Normally on a regular council night, you'll have Roger Cuneo, you'll have John Bertzel, you have Wendy Goins, which is the president. Then you have Darcy Van Erman, which is the treasurer. She's not on the council.
Okay, yeah.
You'll have Todd himself, and then you'll have Amy McCurry, Dave Luck.
Wait, who's Amy?
Amy McCurry is a council member.
Okay.
And then you'll have Dave Luck, a council member.
Okay, that's 5.
And then you will have Donna Key Kerr, which is a council member.
6.
And then you have Jeremy Van Erman, which is a council member.
So all right, you have 7.
Because you usually have to have an odd number.
Correct. Well, yeah. So Winchester, Indiana is a 3rd-class city. They have 5 council members. Newcastle is a 3rd-class city. They have 7. You can do either one you want. Like, for example, Muncie is a 2nd-class city. We've got 9. Anderson has 9. But okay, so you're dealing with 7 council members in Alexandria. And so what's the makeup of the board? Is it like split evenly? Is it mostly Republican, mostly Democrat? What's the makeup?
I believe it's split pretty evenly.
Okay.
And that's one thing too. Their current boards that they have posted as far as positions elected isn't even posted right.
Okay, I got to tell you something, Kristopher. The strangest stuff happened to me up there in Alexandria. Okay, so I'm videotaping this. Council comes in and this guy's telling me I can't videotape. I have to have a signed release to videotape him, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, you are so getting videotaped. And so when he's telling me, I have my rights, I said, no, you see, when you got elected, you gave up all those rights. So you get to be on public display. If you didn't want that, you probably shouldn't have run for election. So he says it later that he was joking, which fine. Okay, whatever. So as I'm leaving the building after I did this video, this woman comes up to me, one of the elected officials, and she said, excuse me. I said, yes. She says, are you Katherine Callahan? I said, yes. She goes, I'd appreciate it if you reached out to us the next time before you come in here and video. I'm thinking to myself, so I said to her, why would I come to you? I mean, it's a public meeting. And she goes, well, you need to have a good understanding of what we represent.
Yeah.
I said, well, here's the deal. I represent the people. I mean, there's a lot more of them. And here, we come in peace. And I'm going to be honest with everybody watching tonight. I was up there because Nathan asked me to come up there. I was invited to come and help the people. It wasn't like I just randomly decided to show up and just crash a party. So,
but had you done that, that would have been perfectly okay too.
It would have. As I'm talking to this woman, I am in amazement. So I asked her, I said, so what are you? I assume you're a Republican or what? And she goes, well, I'm actually a Democrat, but I didn't know I was a Democrat until I ran.
What the hell?
Am I really having this conversation?
And now listen, like I've always said, on the local level, Republican, Democrat doesn't really matter a whole hell of a lot because you're not dealing with immigration, you're not dealing with abortion rights, you're not dealing with those hot button political issues on the national level. But I think it would be nice if the elected officials would know who they are and what they have going.
So here's what I want to know. So Mayor Nasal Road is now in his 6th or 7th year, right?
Yes.
Okay. What I want to know is
of what? I thought you said he's ran twice.
Yeah. So he's up for re-election win. In 26?
Re-election just happened.
Yes. So 26 is when he's up again.
No.
Right? Or
2027. It happened in 2023. So he'll be so that a seat will be up again in 2027.
Correct.
Okay. So he's been in that seat now for, we're going to say 6 years or so. Okay. Yeah. So my question is, for 5 of the years that he was in seat, people were allowed to speak?
I believe, yeah. I mean, for most of his term up until, probably the last, like I said, year and a half.
Okay. And when did you start showing up at these meetings?
Roughly 9-10 months ago.
And so was it something that you did that made public comment go away, or was there somebody else that instigated that was there an incident?
There was an incident, I think, with one of the or one of the houses or something, that a bunch of people showed up, and I think it really made it chaotic. But that has come and gone. And I don't even think it was the same attorneys then that we have now. So, but with that being said, you can request to talk on the agenda.
So
have you requested
now
before?
that can be denied.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I'm still confused as to how the mayor dictates what gets put on the agenda when it's the council's meeting. You have to ask the mayor and have his approval. It makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. So at the end of the day, he has a dictatorship there if that's truly the case. He can literally, okay, well, I don't want you to talk, so here you go. Or hey, I want you to talk. That's okay.
So this is something that the audience obviously knows this, but I don't. I'm sure you don't. I was born and raised in Muncie. I then in 2010 I moved to Winchester and lived in Winchester for about 10 years, and then in 2019 I moved back But like, so for example, when you go to a Muncie City Council meeting, or you go to a Winchester City, or excuse me, an Anderson City Council meeting, or Indianapolis, a first class city, the council runs their meetings. The council president is the proceeding officer. You might have a reading secretary or whatever, but that's how those things happen. And oftentimes the mayor will sit in the audience and is never talked to during a meeting. Sometimes, hell, the mayor's not even there. I mean, in Muncie's meetings, it's hit or miss whether the mayor even attends. It's the council's business to get things done. In a third class city, and I had this problem with Winchester, in a third class city. So you said that you have a counselor that is the president. You have a council president, but then your mayor is like the presiding officer of the meeting. So state law does say that the mayor or the president, it gives them the ability to preside over the meeting. So they're technically within the law doing that, but there's nothing wrong with the council saying, we would like to do this. And there is checks and balances there. And I've always said, and I always fought Winchester on this, and Winchester did the same thing Alexandria does. I always said the council needs to tell the mayor, we want to run the meeting. You can be a part of it. You can sit here. We want you to come, but we want to run the meeting. And I think that's always better when they do that, but very few places do that because everybody's afraid of everybody. And the biggest problem in government on a whole for this is what's called toxic positivity. Everybody's always afraid that somebody's going to get up and be upset. Someone's going to be mad that someone raises their voice, or someone says, damn, or someone says, I'm mad as hell. And you're cursing, they're mad that you're doing that. And the thing I always remind people like that is government and politics isn't for children. It's adult stuff. Government and politics is a blood sport, contact sport, and yeah, we should be polite, and it should be nice, and we should be able to conduct business in a professional manner with decorum. But every now and then shit hits the fan and it gets heated, and it's okay if we talk like adults and we get things done, and it's okay if you're mad at me or I'm mad at you and we agree to disagree and we move on, whatever. That's just real life, and people shouldn't be afraid of that, and that's their issue.
So what I heard a lot of on Monday night from even the council members is that we want the public to speak, but our attorney won't allow that to happen. Now, I know there's counselors who are watching this show tonight. I got a news flash for you. He is not the elected official. If you want the public to speak, if you watched the county meeting last night, somebody makes a motion, you let the people speak. If there are repercussions and retaliation, which again, I heard that a lot from those Monday night people, then you're in the wrong position. You need to resign effective immediately, because if you're worried about retaliation and these people not helping you, you better stop and need to start thinking about the people. That's who you represent. And if you cannot represent them, you need to resign. I don't want to hear, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, then you know what? Go learn it. I don't care what you have to do. And if you can't do that, then resign. That's all I can say to you people. The attorney is employed by you.
Yeah, absolutely. They should speak when spoken to. And other than that, they should be done.
Council members are employed by the people.
Yeah.
So let's
absolutely.
just back to what you said, Chris.
Yeah.
So the council president should be able to put whatever she deems necessary on the agenda as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So for the mayor himself to say he holds that power is, am I speaking correctly, very incorrect.
Say again?
Can the mayor edit and chop things off if the council president wants it on? Is that what you're asking?
Yes. If the council president allows that to happen, I mean, I would say no. I would say that's why the council president needs to push back against that and say, we're going to run our meetings. You can be a part of it, but we're going to run our meetings. That's very clear there.
So it's one of those things. He only has the power if they give it to him, and they're giving it to him.
Yes, right. They are not taking their power back.
Do you know in Marion County, Nathan, that each council member has their own attorney? They don't share an attorney. Each elected official is entitled. Now, you have to have money for that, but that's what when I'm hearing these people tell me how they're afraid of the attorney and how then get your own attorney.
Right.
You're an elected official. I don't what to tell you people. I
agree.
Yeah, you got to get your own representation. Now, somebody has said on this forum over here that really it's Darcy running the show. I've heard some conflicting things. I've heard Darcy's running the show. I've heard Rachel Martin's running the show. And then I've heard that Mayor Nazarote isn't running the show.
Well, I think we can all agree that Nazarote's not running the show. We can get that clear. He is definitely not running the show.
Okay.
I will speak from my experience. Me and Darcy had started out on the wrong foot at the very first council meeting. We ran into some issues. She changed her behavior. Change behavior is better than nothing, right?
Absolutely.
And, we were having a problem getting some public requests. And since the very first council meeting, I have had no problem getting public requests from her office. Now, to get the mayor or Rachel to honor a public request or even reply to an email and acknowledge it has yet happened. It has not happened. I filed complaints because
who did you file the complaints with?
Luke Brett. Yep. But that as elected official, that's their due diligence to have to acknowledge whether it's an email or whatever it is for a public request. And if they're not doing that, I'm going to hold them accountable. And I did. And a lot of people don't like that. Let's be honest. Nobody likes accountability. Everybody fails at something. You pick up the pieces, you move on, you better yourself.
You can talk for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to, you got to do what you were elected to do. And so, as far as Darcy running the show, Rachel running the show, Todd running the show, I can promise you Todd's not running the show when it comes to certain things. But at the end of the day, my experience is I have been able to get information from the treasurer where I've not been able to get information from others.
Okay.
And that's facts. I can support it with all my public requests that I've requested. Never once has Todd, Rachel, anybody else replied to any of my public requests. So I don't, like I said, so to answer your question, I'm not sure. And that's really none of my, laundry to air or whatever, but I can speak from the facts, Well,
let me ask you, you said something interesting there. So do you think they're not answering your request? So in your mind, do you think that means there's just not records responsive to your request? Or do you think you have issued requests that they actually have records to, but they have not complied?
100%. I know they have records for them. They just choose not to do it.
Okay.
Absolutely. I could go through my email. I probably have 22 to 30 emails sent to the mayor that has never been acknowledged, never been talked about, never been nothing. So now when I send a request, even if it's to the mayor's office or anybody else, I always CC the clerk treasurer, because if she has access to it, she supplies me to it. So, which is what she's done. That's what you're supposed to do as an elected official, right? So, right, wrong, and different. That's my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are those problems that you and your neighbors are like currently dealing with up in Alexandria? Like what's currently got everybody kind of like fired up? I know that there have been some pages that have been created and different things. Like what's the ongoing issue for everyone to know?
So like I created a Facebook page what's not happening in Alexandria. I created that to, one, make awareness, for two, to allow members to openly speak without feeling like they're going to get shunned because, oh, I have a problem with this person. Now they're going to hate me or whatever, you know? And with that, I gathered community complaints, community issues, legit issues. You know, you're always going to have some issues that, you know, people are going to complain about regardless. You know, I took what we felt was legitimate issues from the community. I was able to form that into an email in which I sent to all the elected officials that I could, because their emails, their government emails, some of them are non-accessible right now. So I sent that to who I could and who I had access to, and including the police chief, because there was a complaint, you know, about that, or not even a complaint. It was just a question that, you know, a common question that was actually answered very professionally by our police chief. He was the very first one to reply to the email. He dug right in, said the facts of why, you know, this complaint, you know, or this question was valid, and he answered it very professionally and very quickly, you know. So outside of that, I've yet to hear anything else from anybody. The police chief is the only one that is. Rachel Martin did send an email, but it was a basic email saying, you know, we'll look into this and try to answer your questions. But yet she's the one that's responsible for Washington Street project, in which nobody has been updated on. That's when probably half of the complaints are, hey, can we get an update on Washington Street? When's the expected end date? When is things happening? What, you know, we've heard rumors that all the curbs have to come back out that was put in at the end of last year, that they were done wrong. You know, who's responsible for paying that? You know, I'm hoping the contractors, I'm sure it is, but these are questions that the community has that are simple questions that can be answered that they're neglecting to do. You know, they're not having to dig through 10 boxes of paperwork to find a public request. No, it's as simple as, if you're the head of the project, you should know at every single point what's going on in a timeline, and be able to educate and tell people, the citizens of Alexandria, what's going on. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's disheartening that we have people in place like that. You know, unfortunately, she's the secretary to the mayor, and she's responsible for all these things. So, you know, at what point do we start holding these people accountable for the positions that they're appointed in?
Yeah. Yeah. So do you, can we show a little bit of this meeting so people can see like how small the room is and all that? I've got a little bit of it pulled up on the screen. Do you guys mind if we show just a moment of this so people can kind of see what we've got going on here?
Yeah.
Let me get this pulled up here. Okay, here's this thing.
And we might note that the where they hold the meeting currently is very, very small. If people actually started showing up, actually there was 3 people that walked in that walked right back out because they're like, we can't hear. You know, we can't see.
That's crazy. And
right.
that is a major issue on the council. That is technically that's an open door violation. They are responsible for making sure people can get in the door and
see and hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was one of the things when the last time I was on the agenda that I was going to speak about, before the attorney said that, you know, that you know, I needed to take it up with Todd, basically, was that, you know, if we had a bigger spot or a bigger place to have these meetings, people would show up without a doubt. Like I said, I was in the back of the room at this last council meeting, and I was outside of the actual inside part, and I witnessed 3 people walk in, literally say, I can't, this is pointless, and turned around and walked away.
Yeah, that's absolutely horrible. That's horrible. So, okay, this is the meeting. This happened Monday night, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so here's this meeting.
So Madison County, we are here in Alexandria, and they are getting ready to have a Board of Works and Safety meeting. So we're going to look at that, and then we'll look at the council meeting afterwards and see where we're at. So I'll just show you who's all in the room.
This is nuts.
My tripod, so we're just going to get.
Like, they would be better off if they ran it long ways.
Right.
This is nuts. They've set this up to where the fewest amount of people possible can get in this room.
Like a lot of
that is crazy.
Be in here, but
that might be one of the smallest. That might be one of the smallest rooms I've seen for.
I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, I believe it's 40 people occupied.
Oh, look, I found my friend Lorraine. She came.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, look. Oh, so does the mayor sit here?
Yes.
So as vice chair for Board of Works, I'll lead tonight's meeting. That's all right. You stay with us. We're going to do the pledge and prayer, please.
You know, and this is just a Board of Works meeting. We're not even in the council meeting yet, you know?
Oh, okay.
You know?
So they do the Board of Works meeting first then?
Yes.
That are joining late. Mayor Nasal Road is out sick. You know, if you ask for their vote, you want to hear their voices. So. Yeah, you know, I find it interesting that elected officials generally would like promote or, you know, they'd advocate that we should be in a bigger room. Well, that's what I mean. So why don't you make a move?
Yeah, this is crazy.
See all the people sitting and see through the window, all the people back there?
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. So that room back there, like, how many people are in that overflow room?
There was probably at one point 9 of us, and then 3 walked in, 3 walked out. Yeah, and it is, you know, you can see through the window. Don't get me wrong, and you can hear if you're right up close to the window, or in the doorway, you can hear some of the stuff. But you know, outside of that, you really can't hear in that back room.
Yeah. So what, like, are any of these people, are these all citizens? Or people, I mean, are I guess what I'm asking, are any of these people employed by the city?
This guy who's standing up is from Baker Tilly.
Okay, yeah.
And he's here talking about a TIF fund.
Yeah.
So that's an issue there. These ladies who are sitting here behind you, they come, but they are kind of frustrated that they can't speak at all. Angie Remington's there. She's been one that's been going quite frequently. She's ran a couple of elections. She hasn't been able to speak very much. It's been kind of amazing to see. Now you'll see over here against the wall by that door in the black jacket, that's Coroner Adam Matson, who's also the fire chief in Alexandria. So as I saw this room fill up, and then I saw the stairwell outside fill up, and I saw people standing there, I asked Adam Matson, I said, what is the capacity before we're at a fire marshal issue? So he jumped up and he looked outside the door and it said 40. Well, here's the thing. They have made sure they don't have 40 seats here, right?
Sure.
But I'm telling you right now, so there's 3 rows. That's 15. And then they've got 7. That's 20. So they're really pushing the envelope here with the amount of people. So they've got people. So people became frustrated because they couldn't hear. They couldn't get in there. They don't have a seat, which I think we've got a lot of violations here. So one is you're not accommodating the people. So people who have disabilities don't have a chair. We've got elected officials in there in the audience who are not giving up their seat for people who want to be present and be in there. I got an issue with that. They should be making special accommodations that the people that they're bringing in to speak about funds or whatever who they've hired through should have a different place to sit. I mean, I don't understand the arrogance of this entire council. I don't really care if you people like me or not, but you're very inconsiderate to the people that put you in office.
Yeah.
And then you laugh and you joke and you smile that, hey, why would we ask these people to move? Why? I mean, it just goes to show that elections have consequences. Nathan, I just don't understand how this community actually tolerates this behavior.
You know, I've come to find out that I think a lot of people are at their wits' ends, that they just kind of gave up because they were sick of not hearing or being heard. It's one of those things, you know, you keep talking, you keep saying stuff over and over and over. It's like beating a dead horse. At what point do you throw in the towel? You know, and I think a lot of people are at that point. They're just, you know what? It is what it is. We're throwing in the towel. And it's not okay, you know.
Yeah.
And when somebody like me comes in and starts challenging, starts trying to make them accountable, of course they don't like me. Of course they don't, you know, care with what I have to say or whatever. But one thing about me, I normally don't speak unless I have the facts to back it up.
Sure.
And they've proven it. They have proven over and over that they are out for themselves at the end of the day, because if they weren't, they were elected to help the community, to help the citizens, and they're not doing that. You know, a lot of issues could be addressed fairly easily. A lot of these issues could literally be fixed in a matter of days, some of them hours. You know, as simple as, you know, getting a handicap spot for a business, you know, that you have to go to the council, have it approved, but then you find out that where you needed the handicap spot, there was already an ordinance for a handicap spot to be there, and it just never got put back. But somebody had to wait 2 months for that to happen because it got shoved aside and forgot to be put on the agenda. And, you know, again, affecting people's livelihoods, people's businesses, and it's not okay. And anybody that thinks it is a liar.
So let's watch a few minutes of this.
Okay.
Because Angie Remington asks, a couple people start asking questions here after this guy presents.
There have been various expansions throughout the last several years.
Now this is about TIF funds. TIF funds are very dangerous, people.
We're here. We'll give an overview of the finances as it pertains to 2024. The area captured $93,000 of revenue in 2024. So about a $10,000 bump from the prior year, which is positive. We are expecting some additional growth in the coming years, especially as the golf course development is assessed. There were expenditures of $80,000 in 2024. The bulk of that coming from professional services. There was also some office supplies and salaries and wages for the building commissioner. Again, these are the traditional expenditures that we've seen from the redevelopment commission in the past several years. And there are currently 2 funds outstanding associated with the redevelopment commission. That's the non-reverting fund. That's where the TIF revenue is deposited on a semi-annual basis. There's a current balance, or the balance as of the end of 2024 was $271,000. There's also a donation fund that hasn't had a lot of activity in the past several years, but there's $3,000 sitting in that fund as well.
Quick question. Is that a fund that the public or philanthropy can donate to?
I don't think there's any restriction on who can donate to.
Yeah, the restriction would be as to how.
Now this is the attorney.
Okay, and who is the attorney?
Julie, or from Taft Law, I believe.
Okay.
Thank you.
And, you know, just like this, you can't hear a word they're saying even hardly on this live stream.
Yeah, right.
I think the people here, I don't know how the council's actually being able to listen and hear.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap.
To reach out to Brian, Ethan, or myself. We're the team that assists with Alexandria. So happy to continue to contribute and support the community. I have a few extras. I'll leave them with Alan. So yeah, and I think there's a hard copy as well. Alan also emailed that out to the redevelopment commission earlier today.
For our TIF runs, that 10th annual was part of that. Part of is Poet Now. Part of because we made that part of our thing. Is that correct? So, real quickly, this is just a report that's given from State Utility. That's a requirement statute. There's no activities in the council. As to Poet, there's still legislation out right now that's going to allow for that, but there's no public comment period that's tied to this.
Now, did you hear that, Chris?
Well, I didn't know.
Back that up. Back that up. Just right there. Listen to what he just said.
Poet Now, part of because we made that part of our thing. Is that correct? So, real quickly, this is just a report that's given from State Utility. That's a requirement statute. There's no activities in the council. As to Poet, there's still legislation out right now that's going to allow for that, but there's no public comment period that's tied to this.
There's no public comment.
Yeah, I believe an individual tried to speak, and the attorney's the one that was saying no public comment. And again, after being to different council meetings, I've never seen the attorney drive the meeting.
I mean, any one of these people could make a motion to let the people speak.
Correct.
And no one does.
Right.
Well, yeah, this is something that needs to. I mean, it's not good. It's crazy.
Let's be honest. It's a shit show.
Yeah, absolutely. This is complete nonsense. And it's not good that the council gives away their authority because the people did not elect this guy. They have no power over this guy. This guy needs to be sitting there quiet unless the council asks him a question. And even if he volunteers information, the council can still say like, yo, thank you, but we're going to go in this direction. But very rarely do they do that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
05-C amending Title 13.
So this is for your review. So to start the process, again, like we've done with some of the other titles, to go through, find things that you would like to have addressed within, and then we'll have discussions during the work sessions again as well. So it's just an introduction of this. No action for you tonight, other than starting the homework to see what you want in there and what you don't want.
Somebody needs to go and record those public sessions that they're going to have.
And I don't know, if citizens would show up to the special sessions, if they'd be more concerned maybe about us being there than they would getting something done. I don't know.
Again, showing that they've accomplished nothing is just as important as showing if they accomplished something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, you're in a win-win.
Yeah.
And that's really the sadness to this whole meeting is that discussion took place amongst these elected officials and there was no representation of the people.
Agreed.
And, we've got to have representation of the people. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you're planning on running for something, Nathan, up there in Alexandria, you need to be building a team right now for whatever seats are up next in the next election. I don't know when these guys are up for re-election. If they all are in 27, down in Lapel, they kind of stair step when they're coming in, but you need to be building a team right now. And then you need to run as a team and start taking some of these players out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I hear you say it all the time. Elections have consequences.
They do.
And sometimes until it hits home, you don't acknowledge or realize that,
Until it affects you. And I think
Correct.
the lady, I think the lady last night at the county council meeting said it best. She said, now you people have really made me mad, and I don't do politics.
Right.
But I'm going to do politics now, and I'm coming. And I think we're seeing that all over right now. It's craziness. And, there were lots of questions in this whole meeting. Chris, can you explain to the people what a TIF fund is?
Yeah. So it's a very controversial thing. Basically, like one of the things that everybody in Indiana always says is like, in California, TIF funds are illegal. And that is very true. So basically TIF, TIF stands for Tax Increment Fund. And basically it's where they will take an area of town, or your area, whatever. And it's a way that they can fund infrastructure by taking taxes going in from one area and applying them to something outside of that area, like police, fire, or roads, or whatever. And so basically they use that by saying like, okay, this is going to be a high value area. We're going to be building a bunch of factories here, and we're going to have a lot of workers, and the property taxes here are going to go crazy. Right now it's nothing, but over the next 5 to 10 years, they're going to shoot through the roof. So we're going to call this a TIF district. And then we're going to be able to use these funds outside of what we would normally just use the regular taxes there. If it's a TIF district, now we can use this to fund, police and hire 2 more police officers or repair the roads or whatever. That's right. Just a very simple breakdown.
And what's the oversight on that? What's the accountability and transparency on that?
The same as the council and the board of works, in your area, the council looking through and making sure that, shit's right. It's the people have to look, the council has to look. There's not special oversight. It's just the same thing as, the officials needing to make sure that everything's being above board. It's, the council's the fiscal body, so it's their responsibility.
And the reason why they got rid of it in California is because this is how people were skimming off the top. This is how elected officials come in with one, with hardly anything, and they leave millionaires. That's how it was explained to me. So,
and they're worried about all this or TIF or whatever. We've got buildings that are literally being held up by barricades that the city won't tear down, can't tear down, aren't doing the process to get them tore down. We have sidewalks that this same building, the sidewalk has to be closed because the barricade. I wish I would have been prepared. And I know it was kind of last minute you invited me on here, but I could show pictures of barricades that they have, that's safety issues.
Well, even this building, the bricks are falling even on this building. I noticed that when I drove in.
Yeah, it's there's plenty of things that's already in our town to address, to try to fix before you even can think about expanding or growing. You got to get back to the core things. You've got to start from the ground up, rebuild, and then you can grow, but until those steps happen, the town's not going to grow. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate, I feel like Alexandria has a lot to offer, with the right people in the right positions. I think the town could very much so grow. I feel like it could be, look at Elwood, Elwood has grown so much in 5 years. It used to be a town that people necessarily didn't want to go to because, it's kind of ran down. That town is beautiful. Todd Jones has done an amazing job. The council over there has done an amazing job of getting things done, getting things taken care of, and it shows, but you have to have the right people, the right team, and the right place to do it.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I think that I probably know, but just figured I would ask. If you run, what party would you run under?
Republican.
Okay, I figured that's what you would say, but I just wanted to double check and make sure that's what.
And this is a great comment by Tommy Ice.
Oh yeah,
Jerry Alexander still owes this community several hundreds of thousands of dollars for a building that collapsed that he never helped clean up, and nobody's collected on that debt. And what Jerry has done is he's ran down the time clock for the insurance, and nobody's gone after him. And so that's a sad thing that you guys have missed out on those prime opportunities. But
no, I agree.
Is there anything that you want to contribute tonight? Because you've contributed a lot. We can come back and certainly visit Alexandria again. I haven't been in observance enough to really give an opinion other than I am astonished. I mean, Chris, you could literally hear a pin drop in that room unless an official was speaking, because the people are so petrified to speak.
That's absolutely crazy.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I'd be more than happy. Give it a little bit of time here. I don't expect, I set my bar low with the current administration as far as getting things done.
The good news with that is then there's nowhere else to go but up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's a good way to look at it. And hopefully, maybe we can come back to Alexandria here in, maybe a month and see if some of these working sessions, see if some accountability starts showing up, see if these, the council members get their power back, see if they realize, I witnessed you talking to one of the council members, Katherine. She didn't realize the power she had when you were telling her. She did not realize it.
And the funniest thing is while I'm having this conversation with this elected official, I'd never met Nathan and his girlfriend. And so they're standing there and I didn't know if they were there to back this woman up or what. And I'm like, I don't even know how I am in the middle of this conversation. And you're right. I mean, a lot of the stuff I was telling her, I'm like, lady, you hold as much power as all the other 6 members sitting up there with you. Yep. You're in control, not this attorney. And she's like, no. I'm like, yes. The attorney is not in control of this meeting.
Correct. And I think you're right. I think a lot of them are scared of the attorneys because, again, the attorneys drive the meetings. They so rightfully so. I think some of the council members are straight up scared to voice their opinions. But the people elected them to have a voice. They need to use their voice.
Hey, Nathan, how many people do you think populate Alexandria?
I believe it's around 5,000-ish.
Okay.
Give me a second here.
Well, I mean, and again, we're happy to help you with whatever we can. Again, I've got, I know Rachel Martin. I know
5163.
How many?
5,163.
So I was pretty close.
Yeah, I don't know why they weren't there. Evidently, they were ill the night of the meeting. So, we'll probably be able to touch base with them at another time. But I strongly encourage you to start lining up a team. How many of these people on this council are up for election in 26? Do you know?
It would be.
Let me see if I can.
It should be all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
It'll be all of every one of them. They're not. This is not like county council. City councils don't split.
Okay,
so all 7 of them will be.
They're not on the same tracker as like the municipalities. So they're all up in 26. So you need to start building a team right now, Nathan. You need to be going through people's voting histories. You need to be finding people who live in each one of these districts, and you need to begin to run them. Those 7 people need to start showing up in these meetings. They need to start asking questions. And the more these 7 people push back and silence you people, that is exactly the more noise you need to begin to make.
Right. Yep.
You cannot start running for election in 2026. You guys are already at crunch time. You need a 6-month at least lead in time. Chris and I get on here. This is an off year. So we have just put all of our energy into putting these kind of stuff on display. You need to get a couple people who are willing to go in there and put this on Facebook Live. That will help get their names out there.
Right.
Or YouTube Live or whatever. However, I know that's the other thing, Kristopher. They've told the community, well, we're going to start recording this when it has to be, what, in June or July?
July.
I believe July.
It'll have to be in July.
But what people need to understand is that there's no interaction. There's no way to record your comments. That's why even if they're doing that, you guys should be putting this out there for other people, because I will tell you the hardest thing with a lot of these county or municipality websites, you can't find the links to where you need to go.
Correct.
So just make it user friendly. I mean, that's why I just put mine on social media and off it goes. And whoever wants to get to it, it's there for your taking. I don't care. Share it with whoever you want, you know?
Yes.
So, and be able to say whatever you want on those threads. I don't have to agree with what people comment. They can say what they want. They don't like what I have to say. That's fine too. I could care less, right? But you need to find a way, and that's going to get your name out there if you decide to run for something.
Yeah, and you know, it's probably going to happen. You know,
Yeah.
Just to put it out there, I'm nothing is being, in my opinion, and a lot of the citizens' opinion, done correctly. Yes, I realize things take time; it can't happen overnight, but you at least got to take the baby steps to even start to achieve those goals or to achieve those problems. And if you're not taking baby steps, it's done, and we're left with what we're left with right now. And that's absolutely nothing that is appealing to want people to bring businesses, to move into Alexandria. Like, what do we have to offer them right now? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So,
well, I mean, yeah, we would definitely love to have you back on anytime. Anything that's going on, I would like to make it a time where, so your meetings when are your council meetings again?
First Monday of every month.
So it's just the first Monday of every month. You don't do first and third.
So riddle me this. It used to be 2 times a month, but they said there wasn't enough on the agenda to talk about, so they moved it to 1 day a month.
Yeah.
But yet there's all these concerns and problems. So,
yeah, right. That's a common problem that they do. So they technically only have to meet 1 day a month to pay the bills.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
Again, it's the bare ass minimum that is required of them. Nobody wants to go get it. Nobody wants to step in front and say, let's do this. They just want to sit there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and you're welcome to stay on. Was that the first council meeting you've ever attended in the county?
No, it's probably the second or third one.
Okay. So what do you think between the two?
Oh, I mean,
excuse me.
At the end of the day, they allowed public comment. At the end of the day, whether it was at the end, I agreed, but they still allowed people to comment, to have a voice, and again, is it right, wrong, or indifferent that it was at the end? I don't agree with that. I think there should be public comment before things happen, because you're at that point, the council's already decided what they're doing.
Sure.
Now you get in behind them and express your concerns.
Well, so let me explain to you how City of Muncie does theirs. And for all the corruption and all the dirt, I've always said, at least the City of Muncie runs their council meetings like 98% correct. So the City of Muncie will do they will have a council meeting, and they'll have their agenda. The agenda is made by anybody can put something on the agenda, basically an ordinance. Anyone can make up an ordinance, whatever it goes in. It has to be in, like citizens can do it as well. It just has to be signed off on by a council member and an attorney for the council or for the city. And so basically what happens is they do this thing, and they go through the agenda, and they get to the first ordinance that they're going to talk about, and they read the ordinance off, and then they say, is there anyone here to speak on this topic? And so basically what they do is whoever put the ordinance up, like say it's an ordinance that they're gonna hire an extra police officer. So you got the mayor and the administration and the controller is going to talk about how they're going to get these funds and how they have these funds, and it's going to be okay. So what they do is they say, okay, we're going to do this, and they let them talk about it. Then they allow anyone in the audience, any citizen, anyone that wants to come up and talk for or against. And there's no time limit. They let them come up and they talk to many people. And then they vote, and they do that on every topic. Like, so for example, here was Monday's council meeting, and there were 3 pages. Here's the first page, second page.
I don't think our town's ever had over 1 page.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So they do that after each issue. And then at the end of the meeting, they have public comments where you can get up, and each citizen has 3 minutes to talk about whatever they want to talk about. The reason I say that they do it 98% right is because I wish that they would offer a agenda topic that people wanted to talk about at the beginning. So citizens that didn't like it, for example, Monday night, our meeting, we talked for 2 hours. Citizens talked for 2 hours about the very first agenda item.
Okay.
Our meeting was like 4 hours long.
Great.
And,
awesome.
Which is wonderful. Absolutely. And so they allow that. So that's how meetings should be ran. Maybe if you get elected, you'll be able to get, that happening and push for that. I will tell you the thing that you got to steel your mind against. There's been a lot of good people that have been elected, and they've been that one person, and every vote is 6-1. And so, there's nothing wrong with being that failing vote as long as you're voting on principle and the citizens know that you have their back. So,
and a shout out to Bethany Keller on Madison County at the Madison County Council. She is that one person that has stuck up, right, wrong, or different. She stands up for what she believes in, and shout out to her. She did a phenomenal job at the council meeting the other day.
Bethany Keller is 99% of the time a badass. She does absolutely a great job. Very much agree with what she does, and Madison County's hope is in Bethany because of how she has conducted herself, and hopefully she can rub off on some of the others, but I don't know.
Yep.
So, well, very good. I appreciate it. You're welcome to come back anytime. And if you have something that you need to talk about or whatever, you've sent me a friend request. I've accepted it. I'll shoot you my number and we can exchange numbers. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to text or call me. And if there's something that you're like, oh, hey, this needs to be talked about, we can get you on the program, or we can talk about whatever. We'll help you out. And some meeting where there's not much going on in Muncie, I'll have to schedule to come up and set through one of yours, because I think that would be fantastic.
Chris, Katherine, thank you guys. Oops, sorry, Katherine, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're welcome to stick around if you want to stick around. We're just going to talk about Madison County.
Okay.
And a lot of the county meeting has to do with what's going on up there in Alexandria. So, I know you've got to catch a flight, but Chris is going to take a week off, and then I'm going to ask him if I can have the whole week to take it for just Madison County.
Don't do it, Chris. Don't do it.
Yeah, right.
Do it. Chris,
People
thank
would
you.
kill me.
Appreciate you. Katherine, thank you. You guys are going to get off here.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr.
Nathan Hollingsworth.
And that dude's a badass. I like him. He's pretty cool. I can dig that. He's a good dude. So I think that's pretty cool.
And you know,
and hopefully we can help him.
The thing is that they had shut down public comment in the county meetings. Bethany was reviving it. I continued to want to speak. We had more people show up. And eventually just the fact that people kept showing up put the pressure on that we had to have the people have a voice. So you can't give up, but you've got to keep pushing and moving forward in a very, structured way that it doesn't have to get out of control, like what you saw Victoria Sparks thing or anything, but you have to be consistent and keep the pressure on. You can't just give up. And I was so discouraged last night when I watched people actually leaving because they didn't get to speak last night. You're being asked, would you discuss the requirements for a public official to supply the county council with plans for the proposed sewage treatment in Alexandria?
Okay.
Okay, and we'll probably talk about that a little.
Yeah, hold on. There's someone, and I wish we could have asked this when he was on. I'm just now seeing this. Jackie just now said, does a public access counselor office have outreach available that Alexandria citizens can help tap into? And I will say yes. Well, I'll say kind of, maybe, sort of, I hope. So under Luke Britt would come out and he would perform training for cities, counties, towns, state, for whatever, for public officials, government officials. He would come out and do this. When I filed a complaint against Henry County for an open door violation, and I won that, he actually set up a 4-hour training with the elected officials of Henry County. And I credit that meeting for the turnaround for Bobby Plummer. And one of the things that really helped her, and I really credit that. And he did a great job. Now, Luke Britt is gone. We now have Jennifer Ruby. Jennifer Ruby is an intelligent woman, very intelligent jurist, lawyer. I think she'll do a fantastic job. I don't know if she's going to do things the same. There's going to be growing pains here. Hopefully she will. But the citizens of Alexandria and beyond in Madison County, it wouldn't ever hurt for them to call and say, hey, we think you need to come do a training class with these people because they are some screw ups. So that's question number one. Jackie also said Alex City webpage has I want to blank resource section to report. So she just put that out there. She also says the citizenry of Alexandria needs to receive a public orientation of what their rights are when they attend various city meetings. Well, I can tell you all of your city meetings, your rights are you're an American citizen. You have a First Amendment right, and those people work for you. Obviously, you're going to have decorum. The meeting's going to get done, but, you need to push back and you need to fight for that. So there's not really anything much more than that. The best way that citizens can find out what they need to do is in the Indiana Public Access Handbook. And you can get that online simply by typing in Google or Bing or whatever your search engine is, Indiana Public Access Counselor Handbook. It's like 150 pages. It's up online and it's free. You can look at it there. You can print it off, whatever. It's very good. And then lastly, she says, so was the Alexandria meeting a town council meeting? And yeah, it's a city council meeting. They're a third class city because they got a mayor. So it was a city council meeting. So, okay, take it away.
So what I'm going to do is, people, don't send me messages on Messenger right now. So I'm going to bring up what I have to say to start us into this meeting, because I know we're getting late here.
You're fine.
5 shows, right? So I just kind of want to bring up this whole situation. So here's what I'm going to read to you. There was an article above the fold in the Herald Bulletin this morning. It's a very misleading article. So I'm going to read this and I'll have Chris read the article. It says, we do not want your voice or input. That's what it really should be titled. We are the elected officials. Hear us roar. This should be the title of the article written by the Herald Bullcrap. They looked at the audience and told them to sit down and shut up with their silence, more worried about hurting each other's feelings rather than serving the people. However, they will gladly take your vote and recklessly spend your money. Their mentality: we are so glad that we could dupe the public with our false promises that we will represent the people. The majority of you drank the Kool-Aid, swallowed it, and pushed the button to vote for this. If this isn't enough, take the time to listen to Dr. Green's pre-written prayer because he cannot pray from his heart. It is almost like he uses this prayer to abuse and prey on the community. Because you remember, Ben Gale used to give us a lecture. Dr. Green's going to try to take it in a different way. Do not come at me with prayer, and then your actions support the devil's way and not God's way or the people. What a massive, epic failure by 6 Madison County councilors. President Dr. Scott Green was more confused and lost in that meeting last night than he was on point. But he had to be president because his arrogance is more important than serving the people. Vice President Jody Nork couldn't even keep him on track. And it looked like Rob Steele had to keep carrying the both of them with this. And that was pathetic within itself, people. Then you have Diana Likens, who consistently shows up with a deer in the headlights look, clueless in Indiana, only worried how she can rob the county of more funds to protect her own family properties. If it doesn't affect the Likens, you peasants need to move along, is her mentality. Then you get to top it off with Christy Grabowski sitting there, not willing to keep her promise and support the people. She ran her campaign. She was tired of the old ways, but yet she enforced it last night by not giving Bethany Keller a second on the movement to hear the people. She stood silently and frozen to support the swamp. Only one county council member spoke for the people, fought for the people, and continued to do the right thing for the people. If you have no reason or you are simply frustrated and disgusted with this broken process, let me remind all of you, you show up to support the only council member who consistently shows up for the people, Councilwoman Bethany Keller. While so many are worried about personality and popularity contests, this is what you have voted for when you think like that. I am sick and tired to hear what great people this swamp is because their actions are clear. They are morally and ethically bankrupt. The 6 other arrogant elected officials chose not to listen to public comment. Not one of those 6 individuals could second a motion when Bethany Keller asked to hear public comment. The topic, a threat to human health and the environment. People, you should be disgusted with Dr. Scott Green at this time. The room was packed to standing room only. These 6 elected officials could have cared less. The common theme for these 6 elected officials, well, we have to get along and work together. Well, what about the community getting along and doing what you were elected to do and represent their needs? This is not about wants. That is what the 6 of you did last night, giving Commissioner Rick Gardner $500,000 for his incompetence. This entire county should be outraged. Dr. Green should give up his medical license because he refuses to hear about anyone's health issues in that council meeting caused by the Madison County Health Department, Stephanie Mellinger, Joe Davis, County Engineer Jessica Baston, and Commissioners Richwine, Gardner, and Pratt. He wants to gloat that he has a medical license for what? He certainly didn't listen to anyone's needs last night. He took the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. That starts by listening to your constituents. Whether you're on the clock as a physician or you're not, you should still take the time to listen. Did you need to be reminded you are an elected official in the at-large seat? It took Jody Nork about 18 months before she began to ignore the public because she was more worried about an image. And now we got Grabowski, Culp, and Green that only took 3 months before they shut up the people. And I won't leave off Rob Steele and Diana Likens. They never wanted public comment the whole time they've been sitting on that council. Was it discouraging and disgusting to see the epic failure of the 6 individuals? Absolutely. But if you stayed until the end and listened to public comment, that is exactly what is going to take to hold these 6 people accountable. You cannot give up, and you must continue to show up and speak. For those of you who stayed until the end, there was some very healthy criticism of the epic failures of these 6 council members. Every single one of them should resign. When their arrogance keeps them in that seat, the people must vote them out of office. However, With Culp, Green, and Grabowski, you got 3.5 more years to go. Will they redeem themselves? Only time will tell. However, Norick, Steele, Likens, and Keller are up for re-election in less than a year. Bethany Keller is the only proven individual that actually fights for the people. The other three must go. And yes, I was a strong supporter of Jody Norick's until her actions clearly do not match the words that come out of her mouth. Then Norick and Culp want to whisper when addressing the community, give me a break. And one must wonder, where was Indiana State Representative Kyle Pierce, Senator Mike Gaskell, Health Administrator Stephanie Mellinger, Environmental Manager Joe Davis last night? They certainly didn't show up for the people. I did read this from another post and thought it was worthy to share. It was written by Sean Smith. Everyone should watch the video. It shows how manipulative and dishonest Jessica Baston is. She will say whatever needs to be said to get her way. First, she implied the council had to vote prior to this moving on. Then, when Bethany cited the law, Jessica moved on to how it could impact financing. It's easy to tell when Jessica starts lying. Just listen to her voice. Of note, Jessica was unable to answer several basic questions regarding the process and project. When Keller starts citing the law, Jessica suddenly became an expert. Keller cited the law and Baston mumbled in disgrace. Hope everyone in Monroe Township is ready to be taken. Jessica has lied to myself and neighbors for years. Now she won't even talk to us. She tells us we must speak with the county attorney. So with all that, this is my final thoughts for this post. I am sick and tired of hearing what great people this swamp is because their actions are clear. They are morally and ethically bankrupt. And then I said, tune in. Here's the thing. This is an epic failure by 6 county council members. And only one heroic strength is Bethany Keller. I will never understand why the majority of the people continue to vote for people who want your vote, but not your voice. And so that's my thing. This article is even more ridiculous. And then we'll show you some video. Do you want to read the article?
So the article just says County Council approves support for letter of regional utility district. Divided Madison County Council has approved a letter of support for the formation of a regional utility district in Monroe Township. The council voted 4-3, that's a split vote, to approve the letter of support already approved by the Madison County Commissioners. That will be forwarded to the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. Council members Rob Steele, Jonathan Culp, Darlene Likens. Wah, wah.
What did it say? Who was that?
Darlene Likens. I think he meant Diane Likens.
It's Diana Likens, exactly.
Diana, yeah, they're all the same.
So I'd like to know if there'll be a retraction posted tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Especially, yeah, right.
The wrong name.
And Scott Green voted for the letter of support. It's been up for hours now. Why haven't they went in and fixed it? I'm looking at the current online.
Because nobody's pulled it out. Like usually I'll make a special post about it.
Yeah.
But since I haven't pointed it out, but
they don't know.
We'll let it sit there and see if these numbnuts can figure it out.
Insane. They voted in support. Bethany Keller, Christy Grabowski, Jody Norick cast the no votes. The vote starts the process for several public hearings to address the creation of a regional utility district to resolve an issue is in the Scotts and Phillips additions in Monroe Township. In 2023, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management fined Madison County $1,700 over raw sewage flowing into Pipe Creek. The county entered into an agreement order with the state agency to remedy the problem in the 2 additions. The agreed order stated that IDEM did an inspection on September 21st, 2022, and staff members observed a broken concrete storm sewage pipe. Keller made a motion to continue the approval of the letter of support until after a public hearing took place, which is just common sense. Keller's motion died by an identical vote of 5-4. Her motion to allow public comment before the final vote failed when it was not seconded by another council member. And I'm going to talk about that here in just 1 second. The county council met in an executive session last week to review a preliminary engineering report for a septic system that could be connected to the Alexandria system. I reviewed the documents and got necessary information about the project, Norick, the county council's vice president, said before the vote. Since our executive session, I feel confident and I have the information I need. Grabowski said the executive session answered some of her questions. As we go, there will be more answers, she said. Yes, there will be. Keller said she was frustrated that the preliminary engineering plan was done in December, but council members didn't see it until last week. No information has been shared with the public, she said. I do feel a little bit more confident with the engineering. It could be a good solution for the residents. Norick said the residents in the 2 additions that have viable working septic systems would be grandfathered into the plan and would not be required to hook up to the system for 20 years. Madison County engineer Jessica Baston said this is the beginning of an outreach process. She said the public hearings would take place in 30 days and residents would have 180 days to submit comments to the state agency. This gives us time to develop alternatives like funding options, Jessica said. The commissioners and the council have already approved $3.5 million in American Rescue Plan funds to resolve the issue. Bastion said the American Rescue Plan funds were used to develop the infrastructure master plan for the county with water and wastewater high on the list. Bastion said that residents of the subdivisions are unable to replace the existing septic systems which were installed in the 1950s. So this was just a regular bullshit article by Ken from the Herald Bulletin. Now, we're going to watch this video and you're going to be able to see this and see how amazingly horrible it is. But I just want to say that all last year, I leaned on people that I needed to lean on to know who I should push and support. I reached out to Madison County candidates running for these seats and asked them to come on the program here, this program right here that you're watching. And various different candidates for various offices did. One of those candidates that I reached out to and asked to come on the program was Kristi Grabowski. And literally everybody that I'm connected with, Katherine and everyone else, said that Grabowski was going to be the second Bethany. She was going to be there to help Bethany. Bethany and Grabowski would be the dynamic duo. They would be working together to help each other and to help the citizens, and it was going to be great. And everything I heard about Kristi was wonderful, and it seemed like it was going to be great. And then she decided not to come on the show very last minute. It was very strange. I didn't know what happened. It was just what it was. Okay, moving forward. Last night, when I was sitting there and I watched Bethany hanging out on the ledge, asking for one of the other counselors to care what the public said and second her motion so they could have the public speak, Grabowski sat there with her thumbs up her ass. And I say that
she's not the only one.
Oh, yeah. No. But we're used to all of the others. I'm just speaking right now about Kristi Grabowski because we know all the other ones are worthless. Grabowski has been okay and has been doing the right thing. And then all of a sudden, just forgot where she was. After the meeting, I decided to reach out to Kristi Grabowski and let her know that I was not happy with the decision that she had made. And so I thought that I would do as such. And I found it odd that I couldn't find Kristi Grabowski on social media. Someone that I have went to and watched her page multiple times, her campaign page, her personal page, whatever. And I will tell you that Kristi Grabowski does talk about Madison County politics on all of the pages that she has. So all must be open and public, very similar to the sheriff's page. I just won a lawsuit over. Remember, keep that in your mind. Okay. So when I found out that I was apparently blocked from Kristi Grabowski, and the way I found this out was I used one of my burner accounts, and I went out and I quickly found Grabowski on Facebook. So it wasn't like she deleted her thing for everybody. She had just blocked me. I started doing what I could. Now, this was like 12:30 last night. My very first phone call was to Katherine Callahan, but she didn't answer the phone. So I started doing
12:30 in the morning.
Well, yeah, it was 12:30. Yeah, but normally you're awake. Yesterday must have been a long day. So I reached out to a couple of other folks that I know and that I knew were up. And I don't know if those of you will remember this, but a couple months ago, I was doing a show and we were talking about solar. And a couple people watching, Janet Grenand and a couple other people, told me that they needed me to get a link that they were sending me that Denise Spooner had sent me. But I was not able to click on the link. And I know that I've always seen Denise's comments too, but I couldn't see it. And I was like, wait a minute, she's got me blocked. And this happened real time while we were live. I realized that she had me blocked. And I said, hey, she's going to have to unblock me. I don't know why she has me blocked. And everybody acted like, whoa, I don't know what happened here. It just must have happened. It was an accident. No, we all know how people block people. She blocked me for some unknown reason, which is fine. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I get it. I'm perfectly fine with that. She doesn't have to be a friend of mine. I don't have to be a friend of hers. She doesn't have to like my approach or like what I say or whatever. I'm cool with that. But she did send me a friend request and everything's been fine now. We're friends now. So I found out that. Well, then everything clicked last night when a source told me that the reason I'm blocked on Bethany's thing is because I would assume the same reason Bethany didn't come on the program last year, because Bethany blocked me because I don't believe
Bethany
in God.
Kristi?
No, excuse me, Kristi. Kristi, not Bethany.
Like,
Kristi Grabowski, not Bethany. Bethany's great. I found out that the reason Grabowski has me blocked is because she found out, or she believes, that I do not believe in God. Now, this is a very strange thing to be talking about because that's not how a government official should behave. A government official should not say, hey, I'm going to interact with you based on whether or not you believe in the same religion that I believe in. I believe that we are protected against that. And it's not like the 10th Amendment. It's not like the 13th Amendment. It's not the 5th. It's the 1st. Okay. Now, I think this is absolutely, utterly crazy, insane that I have to be saying this. But first of all, so I made a post and I laid it all out on the line, making it very clear to, I guess, my Lord and Savior, the one that judges me, Kristi Grabowski. Here, I thought that God was my judge. I did not know that Kristi Grabowski was, but
this
apparently
is why you shouldn't mix politics and religion.
Well, yeah, I guess this is why she should not mix politics and religion. But I was under the thought that my Lord and Savior was my God. I did not know it was Kristi Grabowski. But in short order to make sure that she and everybody else was aware, I made a post, and the post was very, very clear. I said that finding myself blocked on social media by a local elected official from East Central Indiana and Indiana area was not at all shocking. Happens all the time. Seeing how there are a lot of elected officials who are too bright. But imagine my surprise when I found out the reason this elected official had blocked me was because said elected official doesn't think I believe in God. What? Yep, that's right. Number one, who on God's green earth does Kristi believe she is, thinking that she, a mortal being, can pass judgment against me or anyone else? If that's the religion I'm supposed to believe in, I don't want to believe in it. And Christy has some things wrong. Number two, if someone doesn't believe in God, I hope this elected official is intelligent enough to know that blocking the person for that reason would be a major issue for the county. And if she's not smart enough to know that, then she has no business holding public office. Number three, I simply put in the link to my First Amendment federal lawsuit win, and I put that there for Christy or anyone else that needed to see that. I'll just share this here for everyone to see. Okay. Lastly, I am tough on elected officials. I can be gruff and grumpy. I cuss and I call it like I see it. But to all who read these words or hear these words and take them as my absolute truth, I, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, believe fully with my entire being that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I believe that Jesus is the Son of God and that he was born into this world and crucified, and that he rose 3 days later, breaking the chains of death so that all who believe can have everlasting life. Jesus said unto him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh to the Father but by me. John 14:6. I am a sinner, but I strive daily to live a more Christ-centered life. I hold elected officials accountable that has nothing to do with being a Christ-centered person. I hold those elected officials accountable because they need to be held accountable. I hold them accountable in their public positions as public servants. I do not judge people the way that I appear to have been judged here. The actions of this elected public servant are reprehensible. They are an absolute violation of my First Amendment right, and I will be dealing with this swiftly and strictly. Now, I reached out to Christy Grabowski to find out just exactly what in the, I really want to just say what in the fuck she thinks she's doing, but maybe that won't make me a Christian. So I'll say I reached out to her to ask her who the hell she thinks she is. And once we clear up the fact that she first does not judge me, and second of all, if she thinks she does, she can go to hell. Third of all, I want her to know how ridiculous it was that she left Bethany hanging last night. And if she's going to do that and all this other bullshit, then she needs to get her ass up off that council and let someone sit down that has half a freaking brain. Take it away.
Okay, so I don't even know what to say to all of this. Yes, I saw your post. I was obviously busy writing my comments of what took place last night. I respect one's religion, faith, whatever it is that one should choose to do. But I absolutely cannot thrust my beliefs onto someone else.
Sure.
And especially if I'm an elected official. I don't know what her rationale is. I didn't reach out to her because this wasn't my fight, right? With that being said, I'm more, that's more of a personal thing for you. I'm more furious and disgusted with the fact that Grabowski couldn't second Bethany Keller.
Yeah.
And this is tough for Bethany, right? Because, I know they're friends outside of this. I know Jody's friends with Bethany outside of this. And if Bethany's watching, I don't know if she is or not. You need to keep your head very secure, Bethany, because those people who you think are your friends just showed you last night they're not your friends.
Or they might be your friends. They just don't know how to politic.
No. I would never, ever, if you and I were on a show, I would never hang you out to dry and not second you on something that was legitimate. We're here to serve the people. You're asking me to second you. If I'm really your friend and I really believe in the people out there, I'm going to say, absolutely. I don't care if it pisses off the entire board. I don't care if these people come and retaliate against me, because you know why? The people that are sitting in that audience, that's who I need to be concerned with. And somewhere this county council has forgotten about the people. And maybe she blocked you for whatever reason, you're blocked from her. That's the bottom line. I don't even need to get into the religious part. Okay. The bottom line is that you're blocked. I get another call from Nicole Kapazinski, who's on here today, and she's offended because she's blocked from Christy. Listen, now I'm seeing a trend. Now this is becoming a problem. It's a pattern, and it's not a good pattern to be on. You ran with the thought process that you are here to defend the people. You are here to serve the people. And you know what? If Nicole Kapazinski wants to have an uncomfortable conversation with you, then it's time to pull up your big girl panties and have that conversation. If Kristopher wants to tell you he's an atheist, you know what? You're no one's judge or jury. You need to just deal with the situation at hand. If you don't, and you cannot separate yourself to do that, I agree with you, Kristopher. Step down and step back. Nicole Johnson was on here saying stuff to me, and she's talking about me. Listen, if she wants to run her mouth about something, run it. I don't care. I'm going to tell you my thoughts. I'm not saying you have to shut up about it. That's just how I feel about it. So
yeah, people fight all the time, and you can still be cool with each other. Yeah,
you can say whatever you want. I'm not blocking you, right? And so that's, and I'm not even an elected official. I have the right to block somebody. So you know, the only thing I can say is that, you know, I think we need to take a good look, and you make a decision for yourself on these 6 individuals, not just Christy Grabowski. On each of these. So if you go to Messenger, I sent you a clip. I've got clips, so we don't have to. Nicole Kapazinski and Rebecca Crooms were nice enough to did
a really good job with this. They did a really good job.
And so this first one, I want you to watch the people on the council.
You sent this in the group.
In the group one, that's the first one because I didn't want to get them on.
And as I'm going to this, I just briefly want to say, because I also want to give Christy a credit. I know I was real harsh on her, and I am going to say this. I am willing to forgive Christy, and I'm willing to apologize for my words there. I mean, I hold my words. I think it was wrong what she did to Bethany, and I think her judging myself and Nicole and other people is wrong. I think that's very judgy, and that's what's wrong with a lot of Christianity today. Okay, this toxic positivity. But I'm willing to forgive her and move forward from her here if she's willing to make amends. Now, to her credit, I did try to call her. She didn't answer. She did text me back right as we were going live, and we went back and forth for a minute. She and I are going to apparently speak tomorrow on the phone. Now, I don't know, once she hears this, she might not, but I hope she does. I hope she takes me up on it, and I will tell her. And I will put this out here if someone does share this with her. When we speak, how I speak in my house and on my platform, this is my place. If you don't like something I say, toss off. But I am not a heathen. When I speak with Christy tomorrow, I will speak respectfully. I will not curse at her. She won't hear foul language. And her and I will discuss it like 2 normal human beings, and we will be just fine. Now, one of us or the other might get heated or whatever, but we'll still be professional and cool. So I don't want her to be like, oh, no, he's going to be yelling and cussing. Nope, that's not going to happen. I promise, Christy, that I will treat you respectfully. I will treat you like I would want my sister treated. Right now, when I'm talking to you here, I'm treating you like an elected official. Don't matter that you're a man or a woman or whatever. But while I'm speaking to you on the phone, I would treat you like I would want my mother to be treated, or I would want my sister to be treated, or I'd want my daughter to be treated. So you will be treated with respect. And maybe we'll agree, maybe we'll disagree. I don't know, but I hope that you don't continue doing on what will do anything that will get you and the county in legal trouble moving forward. Like I said, I just fought the same case against a county sheriff in Henry County, and I came out victorious. So I hope she doesn't put the county in that spot, but I will forgive her if she does the right thing.
Yeah. My big thing is I don't know if Christy's watching. I don't know if she watches this show or not. At the end of the day, you're an elected official. You may not like all of the constituents, but you should listen to all of them the same. Doesn't mean you have to act, but you should at least listen. And so here's the thing. If she decides after tonight that she's not going to talk to you,
Hold on.
But not everybody.
then
Go ahead.
that shows you that position too.
Sure.
So, actions speak louder than words, people, and look at these actions that we're getting ready to watch now.
Yeah, this is crazy. Let's take a look at this.
We can't.
Exactly.
You don't want to hear your comment. You should want to hear ours. And I did hear the comments because I was at the meeting.
But not everybody.
Not everyone was. I had no idea about this until 2 days ago.
Sounds like most of these people did.
There's still
Yeah.
some people that don't know about it.
We're all here now. We'd like to publicly
And
make our
some of us
comments.
actually paid for our own septics and paid $20,000 out of our own pocket, and now you want us to have a new system that we're gonna have to pay more for? No, that's crazy.
Okay, so that is a concern that I had, and that's something that was addressed in the preliminary engineering report and also the statute.
That we can't
We
see.
can't even see it. We've requested and can't see it. So although the statute backs you, did not be forced to have to hook into that septic.
But we will still have to pay taxes on that system.
No,
We will.
I believe it is 20 years, I'm going off from memory, that you could have, you will be grandfather clause in as long as you have a viable working septic system.
And when will we be able to see
I think
this?
actually.
Who determines
I'm
that?
just going to the rest of.
Who determines
Give
that?
us some background.
We can't.
Exactly.
Okay.
Don't
That's
hear
it. So that was, I mean, what happened last night in this thing was.
So go to the next one. We've got several here. So I thought we had them in order, but
Oh, so that was out of order.
no, I thought it was in order. But go on to the next one.
However, I'm not
This
confident
was first.
in the regional utility district as the best option, because there would be more than one option on how to address this. And so I'm not comfortable at this point saying that I unequivocally support the formation of a regional utility district until I'm able to review that preliminary engineering report with the constituents and make sure that that is a solution that is best for the people. And that's where I'm at. So I don't think it's fair to ask me to share the feedback that I got from that meeting, because we had such little information at that meeting. So I don't want you to use that in place of public comment tonight and say, oh, well, we got feedback at the town hall meeting. Well, it wasn't properly noticed. It was just a group of neighbors. So I don't want that group of people to be the only public comment that we have on this. So with that said, I would like to make a motion that we open the floor for public comment. All right, so to the people that are in the audience, I'm sorry. And this time, if you would just stand, if you were here tonight to talk about the regional utility.
Because no one would second her. No one would second her.
Yeah.
Yes. This is what they've done to you.
Mm-hmm.
They are not for the people. Remember this at the
We
polls.
appreciate you, Bethany.
Thank you, Bethany.
Thank you, Bethany.
Yes, thank you, Beth Ann.
I just want Scott's in the Phillips neighborhoods.
So the next one that I sent you, that's the one, that's the very first one. They're not in order. So the next one is where she asks for public comment.
We watched this kind of like a Star Wars.
Yeah, we went a little backwards, but everybody's used to just rolling with it.
On how to address this. And so I'm not comfortable at this point saying that I unequivocally support the formation of a regional utility district until I'm able to review that preliminary engineering report with the constituents and make sure that that is a solution that is best for the people. And that's where I'm at. So I don't think it's fair to ask me to share the feedback that I got from that meeting, because we had such little information at that meeting. So I don't want you to use that in place of public comment tonight and say, oh, well,
we just heard this one
at the town hall meeting. Well, it wasn't properly noticed. It was just a group of neighbors. So I don't want that group
It's
of
right at
people
the
to
end.
be the only public comment that we have on this. So with that said, I would like to make a motion that we open the floor for public comment.
Okay.
Dead silence.
All right. So to the people that are in the audience, I'm sorry. And at this time, if you would just stand, if you were here tonight to talk about the regional utilities.
Because no one would second her.
Now, I thought that she kind of jumped it a little bit. I mean, almost like she should have waited a little bit longer.
You think, but no, it sat there. Like no one would even look up at her. Like there was no reason to just continue to sit there in silence. Now,
No one would second her. Yeah. Yes. This is what they've done to you. They are not for the people.
now, if Grabowski
Remember
is
this at the
watching,
Thank you,
and,
Bethany.
and anybody else is watching, Jonathan Kolb, I don't know, whoever's watching. What should have happened here is somebody should have seconded this. And the reason why, even if you're not in agreement, we should have had a second, and then we should have had a count off to show us exactly who does not want public comment. They were in a prime position to show that Likens would have voted no, Green would have voted no, Steele would have voted no. Then it comes down to, and for those of you who are late watchers, Jonathan Culp is Jody Norick's son-in-law. So they would have had to square off. Would Jody have voted, yes, I want public comment? Or would she have voted no? Would Jonathan vote, yes, I want public comment? Or would he have voted no? And then Kristi Grabowski, you're in a win position. I want to hear the people speak. Because notice it. This is, and I'm going to give it away right here. This is how stupid the swamp is. They always start down at Steele. And then they come down the pike all the way. Well, you know, Kristi and Bethany, you already know the count. So you're in a win-win position. Now, everybody, we will know how many of them are watching the show, because at the next council meeting, if they start down at Bethany's end, we win. Because now they're watching the show. And so this is what I'm telling you.
This is big. This is big. Counselor Keller, and I appreciate Counselor Keller for responding here. Counselor Keller said it felt like forever sitting up there, but it was 5 seconds total. I caught the council off guard and jumped too quick. I wholeheartedly believe Kristi would have seconded me with time to think.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Bethany. I'm not taking that answer. I'm going to tell you why. You never have to think when it comes to listening to the people. You don't even have to flinch with that. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, Bethany. You didn't flinch. You didn't flinch at all to say, I want to hear from the people. And so catching, there are some things you can catch people off guard with. I get that. But when it comes to, hey, Kristopher, I want to listen to the public, this is what you ran on. This was your brand. This was it.
Yeah.
And you had that chance to let them speak.
She missed it.
Nobody should have had, they should have needed 1 second. It should have been an immediate, like, I'll second that.
Now, this is why Bethany is a good person. This is why she's a rock star. This is why she does as well as she does. And look, I have a reason to be mad at Kristi, and maybe it's misunderstanding or whatever. And we'll hopefully figure that out. We'll see. Time will tell. But I can appreciate Bethany going to her aid and being like, look, you know, maybe it was my fault. I jumped, whatever. And I can appreciate that. I understand what you're saying, and I agree. I don't think, I think if the roles was reversed, Bethany would have jumped right on it. Because I've witnessed Bethany do that when they were taking me out and she was like, hey, I wouldn't do this. She speaks right up. And when Ben Gale was going to throw her out or whatever, she didn't stop. She kept right on going. Bethany is just in tune politically. She's intelligent and she's quick on her feet. Yeah, maybe it takes Christy a minute. Whatever, I don't know. I just hope she gets it together. But I respect Bethany. I respect Bethany a hell of a lot because she came on here and she said that, and I get why she said it. I agree with what you're saying, but I also see from her side.
Okay, now that we know that Bethany's watching and that I appreciate she put herself out there to the swamp that she's on this show tonight, I just put in Messenger for you, and for the public who's watching, I would like to ask you, now you are anyone on that member, you are the 6 members on there. I want you to put a 1 if you would have, not yet, if you would have seconded Bethany, or a 2 if you wouldn't have, and if you needed time to think after you see these pictures, how long would it have taken any of you members to give Bethany a second? Put those pictures up.
After you see these pictures.
After you see these pictures.
Put it in the comment yet. Look at these pictures
Look
first.
at all the pictures first and tell me how long it will take you to type a 1 or a 2 and hit enter. 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Right, here we go. Hold on. I'm putting it up right now.
This is their backyard. That little area, if you look behind there, you see a little discoloration. That is the actual pipe that is pumping about 50 gallons of water or sewage a minute into their backyard. Now, at this last rainfall, that came all the way up to the fence. So you know once something gets into the environment that it's going to spread. It's not going to stay just in that local area. This is the drain that they're living. These people yesterday went to the podium and said there were actual little turds of humans coming up because 170 houses are flushing into these people. Go to the next one.
And does it almost looks like there could be chemicals in this picture?
Oh yeah.
You see how it looks like this color? Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff.
That's the same thing, basically. Wow.
So, and look at this. That's from March of 2020. These people have been living like this.
Oh, wait. So this is March. This isn't now.
No, that's what I'm saying. I've got all kinds of documents. How long would any of you live like this? These people showed up last night, filled the room, and nobody got to speak. Do you people really need that long to think? I think 5 seconds was more than sufficient. Now, this one was just now, and that's the water that's pulsing through that pipe up there that's coming in there. Now, I want everybody to know that I went out there tonight to look at this, but I couldn't get back there because it's so wet and it's sinking. So it could have been like quicksand. I know some of you might have wanted me to go out there, and it could have swallowed me up, and then I wouldn't be here with you tonight. So I chose not to go out there, but I just want you to know I did go out there and look at everything. So let me ask you something. 1, yes, I would have seconded Bethany in less than 5 seconds, or 2, no, I needed more than 5 seconds to think about this after seeing that. Because let me tell you something. I would like to know, and I asked last night at that meeting, how many of these people actually live in this area and are affected by this? You know what the answer was? None.
Nobody is.
Now, that's Bethany's district, but this doesn't affect her, right?
Yeah, right, sure.
So nobody. Green lives down south. Grabowski lives down south. Culp lives down south. Steele's in LaPel. Likens is in Anderson. And Jody's in Edgewood. There didn't need to be any thought process to this at all. And that's the point. So I appreciate Bethany protecting her people. I appreciate her comment. But you know what? I don't think she jumped the gun at all, because actually what she did is she protected them from making a bigger fool of themselves. She actually protected them, because had that room stayed silent too long, that whole community could have become very outraged by the fact that nobody was doing or saying anything. Every one of these elected officials have run on the promise that they will serve and respect the people. And you know what? Now you see the epic failure that none of them know how to keep their promise.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about the commandments. We can talk about those things if we need to, but aren't these people supposed to love thy neighbor? I mean, is that somewhere in the commandments? I can't recite those to you. Well, there was no love for the neighbors except for from Bethany Keller. So let's not judge each other, and let's help each other.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
hope,
please.
you know, that now you see why I am so frustrated, because my bottom line is, and I don't think Bethany will answer this for you or for us tonight, and I don't know, I don't even know if she knows the answer, but I want to know how many of these elected officials on that council have gone and sat in these people's homes and walked that perimeter like I did tonight. I got off work. I made it a commitment to go out there through the sleet. It was sleeting out and raining out, and spent some time with these individuals. There's no reason for this. Now, I want to tell you this very interesting part. Do you know that the county engineer, Stephanie Mellinger, the 3 commissioners, apparently say this is not a county issue and this is a property owner issue? Well, here's a huge news flash for everybody. And Kristopher, I'm going to ask you this question. If this is a county issue, or no, if this is a property owner issue, then why is the county paying IDEM fines with taxpayer dollars? Because I don't think IDEM could be fining you if that's the case. Right? I mean, Can you do that? I mean, if you were a commissioner and I'm IDEM and I'm fining you and you go, no, this is the property owners, wouldn't you be telling me to suck it and to take that somewhere else? Wouldn't you be having the county attorneys going, hey, no? But no, that's not happened. This is carried on for over 3 years. Now, here's the thing, people. I want to show you. This is just how crazy all of this is. And I want you to know the elected officials are starting to lose their mind, because there's so many. I don't even know how Bethany keeps it straight. They're lying so much that Bethany can't even keep it straight. Now, I'm sure that Bethany has seen this today. But look at this. If this is not a county issue, then someone please tell me. Oh, I don't know how to send that to you, Kristopher. Did it come through? IDEM sent another letter today. They are going to escalate this to another level because the commissioners refuse to address this, because Stephanie Mellinger refuses to address this. Let me tell you something, people. If you are pissed off about Diego Morales's vehicle, if you are pissed off about Beckwith's vehicles, go look at the health department vehicles. Let me just tell you. You think they've spent a lot in those areas? Clean up your own backyard. Go after your own county and hold them accountable before you start worrying about Diego, because the health department has spent an exorbitant amount of money. Do you know that there is one person in the health department who destroyed the entire inside of his car, and the taxpayers paid to fix all of that? Do you know that there are 2 people at least, now this is a minimum, who have county vehicles, huge trucks, that drive outside of the county 5 days a week to transport themselves to and from work, and nobody can go out to Alexandria and police that every day?
Yeah.
How much money are we paying in tires, in fuel, in maintenance, in oil changes?
Yeah.
What is going on in the health department?
Yeah.
Record requests need to be flying over there. And that's the reality of it. Mellinger used to do it all the time before she got married to Scott Mellinger. She was using the county vehicle like that. And I'm telling you right now, you need to go see these gas guzzling vehicles. So while you're spending time being upset with what Braun's doing, which they're all very important issues, we've got to start getting more accountable in our own backyards.
Yeah.
So, and this is the thing. Joe should be going by Alexandria twice a day. He goes to Yorktown, goes up through Alexandria, looks and see what's going on, comes back through Yorktown to come back to the county. These are all realities, people. And here's the thing. I don't have as much time as everybody thinks I do to sit down and start doing this records request. If you have the time, I implore you to ask for these things. Tell them to prove you wrong. But I'm going to tell you something right now. They won't be able to do it.
Oh, yeah.
They won't be able to do it. So I tried to send you the IDEM report. They're going to escalate this matter. For those people who were up in Alexandria, you're at your Alexandria meeting. They, I forget what the name of that is. It RQW or something? It's for like wastewater and things like that. When they were presenting on that, it's on the agenda. Laureen stepped aside and asked this company, can you handle bringing in those 170 homes from Scott's? They said, we can barely handle what we got. I don't know how we're going to be able to attach to this thing. I mean, that's the whole thing. Bethany was telling everybody, you guys can't even give these people a price. People are barely putting food on the table. And then you've got them maxing the taxes. And now you're going to add another utility bill. Somebody sent me a message just a little bit ago saying how much their utility bill in Anderson has raised, this month. I mean, I just got my property taxes. Every single one of those went up. And the one thing I want to say about Braun's property tax issues, because I wrote about that, like 2 days ago, because there was an article in the paper on that.
Yeah.
Here's my issue with that whole thing with the property taxes is I said, does anyone listen to the play on words? This is legalized robbery from the people. So you reduce property taxes and then tell cities and counties to max the tax to cover this. So the new property proposal. Think about the range from 0.4% to 1.2%. Remember back in the day when the cartel would go from business to business and take from business owners to keep them safe, and the people would pay it out of fear. This is exactly what the elected officials are doing with property taxes. The only difference is they have legalized it and we have allowed it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, this entire county should stop paying property taxes all at the same time. Then they can go figure out how to get this spending under control. If we all did it, they couldn't do anything. Why? Because they had no money to legally fight us all. Think about it. There are more of us than them, but you have to show up, not just at the polls, but at meetings. Call those career politicians who beg for your votes. Give you false hope and empty promises during the election. Then suddenly they can't show up and represent the people to answer the phone. Quit voting for the people who want your vote and your bank account, but not your voice. This is what I'm saying. They're going to backdoor you one way or the other. I'm telling you right now, if Bethany's still watching, if this entire county revolts and does not pay their property taxes, then we're going to have a real run-in for our money. And here's the thing. If we can't pay the attorneys, guess what? They ain't coming after your property because they can't get paid. The judges can't get paid. All these people can't get paid. So you know what? How are they going to take your home? You're going to take everybody's home in the entire county? If I were leading the charge in Indiana, come May, I'd tell this entire county, don't you pay one property tax, not one person in this county. And what I want you to do is I want you to take that money and put it in a savings account. Don't spend it. Just put it over the side. Nobody pay it. Let these people sweat it. You know, listen to Madison County. Listen to Rick Gardner and his disgusting ways. Oh, we got millions of dollars in the rainy day fund. Oh, we've got 25 million. Oh, we've got 12 million. I think it was 12 million. While you have all this rainy day fund money, and you mean to tell me you got people who are telling you about skyrocketing turds flying out of their septic systems? No way should we have money like that sitting in our account when we've got people suffering like this. So you know what? If you want to make these people suffer like that, guess what? The county needs to revolt, not pay any of the property taxes, and let's see how these people suffer. You know why they're going to suffer? Because Rick Gardner lives on this salary. Todd Cole lives on this salary. Linda Smith lives on this salary. Larry Davis lives on this salary. The only people who aren't going to sweat it are people like Ken Kaczynski, Bethany Keller. They're not banking on this. They're doing this actually to serve the people. But all these other people who are here to make sure they get paid for something, and this is how they make their living, those are the ones. And maybe it's time that this community shows these elected officials who's actually in charge. It's not them. The purse, it is held by the people. You don't need a DOG. It's already here. It's us. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Quit paying this stuff.
Have you took a breath?
Huh?
Are you breathing? Like you're starting to get red. I was getting worried.
That's my lecture.
Oxygen, stat. What?
That's just my thoughts. But, you know, and we can show a few other clips. There are a few other clips that I would like to show tonight that I thought were important for the people to watch. This one in particular, this is the actual homeowner who is being affected. Let me get to Messenger and send this to you. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to send it to you. But this is the reality, people. Nobody in this country should feel like we are living in Haiti. Okay? That should just never be a thought to any of us.
Hey, and by the way, yeah, everyone's talking about Ken. I was so happy that he got his money last night.
Who, Ken? He shouldn't have got that money. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. I was so happy he got that. That was awesome.
This is like a no-brainer. So the guy comes up here, okay? He walks up to the podium. He says, hey, I need to hire an employee, right? And that employee, I need $20,000. But wait for it. I'm going to bring in $300,000 into the general fund. Now, if you want to get into technicalities, and again, I don't know, but I don't know if Ken was actually bringing in 320 and he was going to take 20. I don't know that. But say that he was bringing 300,000 into the general fund and he needed 20,000 to pay for this employee. The people are still up 280,000. And we need to debate this? I mean, you just had a commissioner up here who's going to needs 1.2 million, who just got $500,000 to repair a roof and to preserve a historic building that nobody can actually use because they have no plan for it. There's a lot of sketchiness going on in Madison County. I don't know about you, but who goes and buys the Star Bank without knowing that we're going to have some fees going on? Now, somebody, I forget who was talking to me tonight, and Kristopher, you might be able to help with some of this, or Kate. So we have tenants who live in the Star Bank.
Okay.
We want to know why that money from those tenants is not what's being recycled to pay to make these repairs on this Star Bank.
What?
So you have people actually in the Star Bank with tenants. They pay rent to the county. So why wouldn't you use that money, that rent money, to fix the Star Bank like it's supposed to? Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's a weird thing. I don't know. I don't know what the rule would be with that. I don't know what they would. I don't know what the rule with that would be.
Right? So here's the question, Kristopher. Where's all that rent money going?
Yeah. Clearly, that's a big
the
question. Yeah.
That's where records request needs to come in. And that was brought up last night by a constituent, and I don't know if everybody caught that. And so those are the things, I know we're kind of going all over the place, and I know it's late, but if you want to play that video from this homeowner, this is, literally she's had a heart attack from this. This is awful.
Trying to get in here now. Give me 1 second. So you sent it to me?
Yeah.
Is it the most recent one? Is it
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Here we go. Okay, share. Jump out. Okay. Play.
My husband, he's a disabled vet. I'm the one who had the heart attack from all the stress. 171 houses between Scott's neighborhood and Phillips comes into our backyard for 3 years. The health department got an award. I about fell down when I heard that. Joe Davis has done nothing for us. As a matter of fact, last week when it broke into 3 more pieces, we can't have a garden. I can't let my Great Pyrenees out back. We can't do anything with our yard. We bought our house and then we bought the 3 extra lots behind us from the county without anyone telling us what was going to need. No one told us. We have our own well, we have our own septic. We rehabilitated that house. We can't even use our own well water. We've been bringing it in ourselves for 3 years. None of this has been easy. I saw with my husband. He's a disabled vet. I'm the one who had the heart attack from all the stress. 171 houses between Scott's neighborhood and Phillips comes into our backyard for 3 years. The health department got an award. I about fell down when I heard that. Joe Davis has done nothing for us. As a matter of fact, last week when it broke into 3 more pieces, we can't have a garden. I can't let my Great Pyrenees out back. We can't do anything with our yard. We bought our house and then we bought the 3 extra lots behind us from the county without anyone telling us what was going to need. No one told us. We have our own well, we have our own septic. We rehabilitated that house. We can't even use our own well water. We've been bringing it in ourselves for 3 years. None of this has been easy.
Yeah, there you go. You're muted.
Okay, that's called a triple net lease of what's going on at the Star Bank.
Okay.
Right? So I don't understand all the leases like I should be, but it says in the lease, it states that these people pay rent. That rent money should be going to the upkeep of that building. So why is, and I'm just calling Bethany out only because she's watching, and I'm not asking you to answer anything, Bethany, but why are we giving the commissioners money for that?
Yeah.
I'm just totally confused. The rent is supposed to pay for the repairs. Where is all that rent money going? So
yeah,
this is, and these are just things that I'm bringing to light, and maybe I've got even more people on here that are watching that are elected officials who might start asking those questions. If not, maybe some of you have time to start asking for records requests. And listen to me, don't get discouraged if you get denied. That in itself tells you that they're crooked. When they're denying you records, it means they're doing illegal crap. This stuff in this day and age is all electronic.
Yeah.
Okay, and I don't want to hear anything right now. Let's look at, was it Musk? Or who was it that found they're down in a cave and they're still doing all the documents on paper and pencil? We're not doing that here in Madison County. So there should be no reason for a delay to give you the information. Hell, Todd Culp ran his campaign that he was going to get everything electronic and be on the computer, that you can just go get it anytime you want. Okay. Right there. That's a very good question, Carrie McFadden. Wonder if Gardner Construction is doing the work on that building.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all like to know? Here's my problem with the council. My problem with this entire council, all 7 of them. You shouldn't give the commissioners a dime unless they can show you 3 bids.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
can't show you 3 bids, yeah, they ain't getting nothing. Come back to me when you've got all those bids. Rick Gardner wants to say this. Well, no one will give us any bids if we don't have any money. Well, good. Then it doesn't need to be done, because I'm telling you right now, they're going to give you bids whether you got the money or not, because they know it's sitting over there in the $12 million. Here's another clip. Play that clip. I just sent you a bunch of clips to.
Susan said, regardless of how we vote tonight, the process will continue. Does the council, or does your petition to IDEM require a resolution of support from the council?
That's probably more of a legal question. My understanding is that it is, if it's not required, it's strongly encouraged for the formation of the utility district.
Susan said, regardless of how we vote tonight, the process will continue. Does the council, or does your petition to IDEM require a resolution of support from the council?
That's probably more of a legal question. My understanding is that it is, if it's not required, it's strongly encouraged for the formation of the utility district. That others had with individuals. I cannot any conversations that others had with individuals at IDEM that I don't know who they were talking to or what their roles are. I can only.
Dr. Katherine Callahan from LaPel. I just need to understand, I'm not sure where you guys went to business school or math school or wherever that is. You've got a gentleman up here telling me he's going to bring $300,000 in the general fund, and you guys are debating over this. You're talking about how fiscally responsible you want to be, but you just pissed away $500,000 to the commissioners who have no plan and then wanted to sneak in the clock over it. Come on. I mean, I don't know about you, but in my training, learning by fire, being thrown to the wolves, usually ends up with not retaining people and they leave. So he has a solid business plan to give $300,000, and you guys have to debate over this. You've got $500,000 that went out the window tonight to fix a building. You've got a room full of people that you have not listened to tonight who are drowning in water. Maybe if we had more people to help the surveyor, they wouldn't be in the position they are. These people are suffering, and you are debating whether or not we need to get some drainage person in there, but we need to fix the roof on a star building? Are you kidding me? This shouldn't have even gone on this long. All of you should have said, no, we're not giving you that money for that star bank. Go get some tar. You know why? Because what you've told these people is just go get a canoe. You're not helping them. I've worked in Haiti. I have done mission work in Haiti. That is how these people are living. And there should never be a reason that they're living like this. And you, Dr. Green, you know healthcare. One person has had a heart attack over this. I've had 3 siblings that have died in the last year, all from that area. All 3 had cancer. I did genetic testing. None of it's genetic testing. None of it genetically tested that it was related. And nobody's moving on this? You want to listen to Jessica Bastine get up here and tell us that she's just now getting started on something that's been going on since 2018. And then you wear down the people that leave? This man needs that person. We need this person. We need the $300,000. And hopefully at some point, you will tell the commissioners no. You will say, we are the responsible body. This is ridiculous, and that clock should never come out of here, and maintenance should never get another dime until the next year. Now, we have to look at needs and wants. We need something done in this county. I do not know how you people in good faith can tell people that they can come build homes in this county when we can't even take care of our own. Get it together. No public comment.
And
Dr.
that's,
Katherine Callahan.
they just need to get it together.
I just
Yeah.
need to understand.
You
I'm
know,
not sure
and that's
where
the thing.
you guys
So
went to business
for
school or
clarification,
math school or
everybody,
wherever that is.
All right, hold on.
Got a gentleman.
There we go. I was paused. It wasn't letting me end it.
so for clarification, Star pays rent, they pay for maintenance, and they pay a CAM.
Yeah.
Okay? All three are separate. Somebody better tell me why we're giving them money for that bank.
It's crazy. That needs to be taken care of. That needs to be addressed.
I mean, this is the disconnect. They've got Bethany Keller so far in the dark with everyone else on that council. Bethany's the only one that's ripping off the layers, taking off the Band-Aids and trying to figure out where it is. And what does she get? She gets hung out to dry by her other elected officials. And now the community is telling us. The community is saying, hey, do you guys know? Because you know how this came to light about that Star Bank yesterday was a gentleman was at the podium that was from Alexandria, and he asked that. He asked some great questions. I think his last name was Geyser. He may ask some great questions. His question was, how long have we owned this bank? That bank has only been in Madison County's possession from 2 to 5 years. I don't know what the exact number is, but 2 to 5 years they've had it. And like he said, so nobody did any type of inspection before you acquired this thing? My big comment was at the last meeting. It says so nobody's putting money aside knowing that you're going to have maintenance. I mean, I put money aside for a roof. I mean, I know eventually I'm going to have to put one on. Those kind of things. I mean, this is just craziness. And that guy was asking last night who was at the podium. He's like, what are you doing with the rent money of the people who are there? Where's that money going? Where's the CAM going? And let me tell you something. CAM, that one in itself is interesting because I used to own a CVS, right? Well, I didn't own the CVS. They rented my building for me, and I had a CAM. And I'm telling you, if I put $60,000 on there with receipts of things that I did to the lawn, to the roof, to anything on inside, anything I did, they paid it.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why that we're not getting that money. I'm just telling you right now, this council is being bamboozled. Absolutely. And the problem is they're buying it.
Yeah.
This county is so interested, besides Bethany, of let's all get along, sing Kumbaya, melt some marshmallows, eat some s'mores, and call it a day. Well, you know what? Your county cannot afford this anymore. You are killing us in taxes. And I don't care, but I'm going to tell people, you are raping us in taxes. Yeah. I mean, we're saying no. And against our will, you're taking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what, that's the problem. We've got so much water and infrastructure that is a disaster in Madison County right now. I don't know how we're even going to get out that. And I'm going to tell you, this is what my crystal ball says. My crystal ball says, whoever takes seat in 27, I don't know if Bethany's going to do this again. I mean, this has got to be a beating like no other. But whoever takes those seats again in 27, and I hope Bethany does, and I hope people will see the power in Bethany, you're going to be working in a negative budget the entire 4 years. I'm telling you right now, people aren't going to take much more of you coming after for taxes. They're just not. And I guarantee you, at some point, somebody's going to watch this show, and they're going to say, maybe we should do what Catherine's saying. Maybe we should just put that money in a savings account, and everybody takes a revolt, and nobody pays their property taxes in May and in November, and see how everybody likes it. Because I'm telling you right now, None of these attorneys are going to work to get it and say,
yeah.
yeah, we'll do without a paycheck. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? The
Yeah.
power is in the people. Please understand that. And please understand when I tell you, all of you, listen to me. They want you stupid. They want you ignorant. They want you, right? But listen to me. Like Rebecca Kroom said to me, an informed society is the most dangerous to a corrupt system. And these taxes are corrupt.
That's a Rebecca Kroom's quote?
No, but she shared it with me. I don't know who did it, right?
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm going to take credit for saying that. I mean,
Jesus.
You know, but she's right. Knowledge is power. But you know what? Once you get it, you have to apply it. And last night, Dr. Green failed every one of you because he has the knowledge, but he refused. He was unwilling to apply it. And that's a problem. Let me tell you something, people. There are two kinds of people. They're unable to do it or they're unwilling. Last night, 6 council members showed you they are unwilling to work for the people. They didn't just show you by not seconding Bethany. They showed you when they let $500,000 go to the commissioners to fix the Star Bank. When you got rent money coming in, you got CAM money coming in, and you got everything coming in. Now, hey, if I would have known this last night, I would have been at that podium. My phone has blown up all day long because people are afraid to come and speak at that podium.
Well, that's got to stop. Those people have got to start coming up and doing it. Because one person's not going to do it.
Exactly. Listen, these people have no problem talking to you at the polls. And that's what you need to be saying in that room. Well, now you're going to talk to us when we're in this quorum. That's the bottom line. So, you know, there's so much more that happened at last night's meeting. I wanted to go over prayer. I'm sure we will come back at some point. We've got so many, like Delaware County. I mean, this stuff is just off the chain craziness.
Well,
right?
But, I mean, you guys can go and watch the meeting. The meeting wasn't a relatively long meeting. You can put it on 1.5 speed and get through it and still hear everything pretty well and get through it.
Put it on in the car.
Go watch it and go listen to it. It's real. I mean, it's pretty easy. So
there'll be more to come. I am hoping that we'll start going over some of the commissioners' meetings, Kristopher, in the future, because it seems to me where they're sliding this stuff through, because even though Dave Sargent and Rebecca are doing a great job getting that on Facebook, it looks like we need to pulse it out and actually discuss part of that corruption that's going on over in that area.
Look what Breeze said here. It piqued Aaron Brockovich interest all the way here in Madison County. Not sure I would be letting peers dictate whether or not I looked into this issue. Yeah. And I hope she said it just like that. Not sure I'd be letting me peers dictate whether or not I looked into this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, Bree takes quite a beating on social media too.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can't run away. Let those people do what they need to do. Let them say what they need to say. Who cares? As long as you're doing what's right and you're doing it for the people, that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Hey, Bree, just archive those people away and say to hell with them. Archive them, put them right in the middle, put them right back. What?
You don't have to block them. Just thank them for boosting your post. I mean, that's all you're doing. You're just saying, hey, I appreciate you guys boosting my post. I couldn't have asked for better. That's what I do. I do want to show some of you. Most of you have probably read my my messages, but I want to put this up for you, Chris.
Your messages?
Well, like on my post. This is so the family who reached out, the Wyckoffs reached out to Mellinger on Saturday when we were having that terrible rain. I want you to see the response. Read that response.
And I can share this, or I can read this one.
Yep. Read that response of what is being said from Steph. This is from Stephanie Mellinger.
I appreciate your frustration with this situation. You know firsthand it is not easily remedied. This is quite complicated and not an easy fix, as you have experienced. Additionally, I assure you, Joe Davis is excellent at his job. He is knowledgeable and proactive. Joe had a meeting yesterday morning, and we are awaiting IDEM's response. Stephanie.
So that was Stephanie. Now, I'll give it to Stephanie for answering her on a Saturday and Joe Davis. But here's the thing, Stephanie Mellinger. Your condescending, nasty way of responding, like you're being inconvenienced on a Saturday night. You know what? I'm not asking anybody to do this, but here's the thing. What would you do if you woke up and shit was all in your yard? What would you do if you had a cesspool of nastiness in your yard or your backyard? Would you crawl up in your husband's arms and say, oh, please fix this, call the county, call Richwine, have everybody move on this? Absolutely, you would. You would use every bit of power you have because it affected you. Well, you know what? Why don't you get on board and start thinking how it's affecting these people? You signed up for a duty to be a public service in the health department. You're working on your doctorates. And I'm telling you right now, you need to quit. You need to stop with your level of education because you're wasting your money. You're wasting your money because clearly it shows you don't care about anybody in this county.
Absolutely.
And when Bastine keeps getting herself up there saying, well, we're just in the starting phases. Starting phases? Are you kidding me? Look at this response on Saturday night. Now, Gardner couldn't take the time to respond to this family. Richwine couldn't take the time to respond to this family. But here comes Miss Olivia Pratt. Now, people, I want you to understand, IDEM is fining the county for this. IDEM.
Yeah, right.
Now, Olivia Pratt is telling this family to go fix it on themselves, but they can have sandbags if they want. Here's the thing, Olivia Pratt. If you know that sandbags are going to fix this issue, how about this? How about you fix the thing permanently while we've had dry weather? And once you figure out how high those sandbags are going to have to be, because I'm telling you, I was out there, and when I heard that guy at the podium say it's going to take about 1,000, oh, he wasn't kidding. He was not kidding at all. Do you know, listen to this. Listen to this. Joe Davis is the environmental manager, right?
Yes.
You know what he told this family to do? Allegedly. And I say allegedly because I don't have it in writing, but I believe this family. He told them to just pour concrete all back there. Then it would push the water in the cesspool to the farmer's yard behind him. Listen to me.
That's crazy.
People. Why would you push your problems onto somebody else? That is how disgusting this entire health
department is. That is absolutely
is.
Nuts.
And so that's, and here's the thing. Everybody wants to say, oh, Stephanie's such a good person. Joe's such a nice person. Oh, Olivia Pratt, she's wonderful when she's chopping on her gum, sitting up there in front of the entire community. I don't know what kind of mother trained that, but my mother would have smacked me across the face and said, that's that gum out.
Yeah.
And every commissioner meeting, she has gum in her mouth and she is chomping on it. Yeah. I mean, it's just absolutely, it just lacks any type of class there is. But at the end of the day, how do we fix this for the people is where we have to get there. And I'm telling you people right now, get together as a whole. They are not fixing the things in this county. Look at your roads. Look at your infrastructure. Look at your water. Well, quit paying your taxes then. Until you get service, don't pay them. I cannot express to you more than that. Now, here's the thing.
I think we might be skipping. I mean, because here's the problem. You're not going to get a large group of people to quit paying taxes if we can't even get them to come and bitch at the people. If 1,200 people showed up at a meeting, things would be different. I'm going to tell you right now, if 1,200 people would have been at that meeting Tuesday night, they would have let people speak.
Well, and they would have had to get a bigger room because they would have been in a violation for public access. I don't disagree. But here's the thing. If even we had as many people show up that we did last night consistently at these meetings would begin to change.
Sure.
They would. I mean, there wasn't a seat to be had in there.
Yeah.
It would begin to change.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Look at maintenance. I griped about maintenance. They're spending this $36,000 clock. They don't need to check with the county council. Then Gardner comes in and backdoors them last night. And Bethany asks, well, what about this clock? He's like, no, it's going to come out of this. And they still passed it. You know what I would have said? Guess what? You think it's going to come out of this? Okay, you guys needed $500,000. We're going to put $450 in one account. We're going to put $50 in one account. Okay, so which account do you want? It's now going to become, what is that? That's going to become 514,000, or you want the other one to be like at like, you know what, 36 minus 50. So we're going to make that what, 14,000?
Yeah.
What's your pick? Because that's what you're going to get. And oh, by the way, don't you come back and ask me for more money, because I'm going to audit you. And if I find out that clock came out of that 14,000 or the 16,000 one, guess what? You ain't getting money for the rest of the year. Don't
Have you shot speed tonight? Did you shoot speed before we did this?
No, but let me tell you something. When it comes to money, I get really passionate about that.
Jesus
don't be bad. Listen, I do not like people who try to separate me from my money. I work very hard for it, and I do not appreciate when you try to separate me from it. Even my staff, they'll be on the phone and I'll hear them talking to somebody. They're like, she's not coming to the phone. If you try to separate her from her money, you're not going to like the person on that other end of the phone. That is the reality. It's only taken me 10 years to train my staff to say that. Don't ever try to separate me from my money. I work hard for it.
Well, because it's like midnight now, it's tomorrow already. I think we probably have to wind this down.
I appreciate everybody tonight. I love all of you guys. I was excited to talk to you guys about it. Keep your money.
Yeah.
Listen to me, people.
Yeah. So, very good. Well, I appreciate it. Definitely a big shout out to, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Nathaniel. What's his name? Nathan?
It's Nathan.
Nathan Hollingsworth.
Nathan Hollingsworth.
He was great. Wonderful guy. We'll have to go up there and set through an Alexandria meeting coming up soon. See what's going on up there. Big shout out to Counselor Bethany Keller. And
she's amazing. And good luck for her in 20, as we're coming. I mean, we're running election right now. She's up for election. She's up for election in 2026.
And when? Bethany's 26. Up next year?
So next year, here's the thing, people, listen to me. It's a district race in 26. Keller's up in District 1 up north. She needs to run, so don't even think about running against her. But you can if you want, but I'm just telling you, we're going to push really hard for her. I would prefer that you not run against her.
Everybody run that you... No. Yeah. Everybody run if you want to run. We'll just try to beat her. Go on.
The second one is District 2, and I believe District 2, these two are so close together.
Who is District 2?
I believe that's Jody Norick.
Okay. 3?
So she's Edgewood. District 3 is in the center of Anderson, and that is Diana Likens. Now, understand this. Diana has already said she's not running again.
Yeah.
Let me tell you who is. Oh, no. Let me tell you who is.
All right. Reader's Digest. Mikhail Vaughn is running for Diane Likens because he was in the back of the room last night doing some crazy shit.
Right, and we're going to do
trying to get back in the
podcast for him. And then District 4 is Rob Steele. Rob Steele says he's not running again.
Yeah.
So
I think he's done.
You can hold the majority. If we can get 3 people to get on there with Bethany, you can control this whole thing, and it might be a very long 2 years for Green and Cole.
That could very well be. Yeah. I mean, next year could change things, but we got to get there. We got to have people that's running.
And Olivia Pratt's going to be up on the commissioners.
And they got to be willing to do what they say they're going to do once they get there, because we all know how that goes.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, thank you very much. Stay put real quick. Stay there, Catherine. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for, thank you for listening. It's been a long episode. We've packed a lot of great information. Please share this around. We will have we will have the property tax stuff for you tomorrow. We will also have Delaware County redevelopment stuff as well. And we will go from there. So you guys have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful Thursday. And we will see you tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. As always, hit the like on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't. Follow us on social media, and good night.